Did I stutter?
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The 2011 winner of the Heisman Trophy is Robert Griffin III, RG3!
Welcome to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Langoliers, base hit to center, and the Baylor Bears win their first Big 12 tournament championship.
Their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Yep, just ready for OU.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's Drake Toll.
And welcome into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Jersey, otherwise known in some countries as Thursday. Here, all day long, and by all day long I mean 11 to 2, because that's the only time I'm awake. It's Jersey. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong, Sims. Jack McKenzie's here doing a little bit of homework. Hopefully his professor's not watching. If they are, that's going to be detrimental. Detrimental.
We just power off after 11 to 2. We just don't exist.
Yeah.
Be 11 to noon.
I sleep in the closet. No kidding. Yep. I stay. This is my whole life. Up-tempo is my whole life. And when it's not up-tempo, then what do I have to live for? War!
So, question, when it's Good Friday, will it be Good Jersey before that? Or is that sacrilegious?
Absolutely nothing. Okay, what?
Is that sacrilegious if we have a Good Jersey before Good Friday? Or, like, how does that affect? Like, is Jersey? Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. Good to know.
So, you get a Sweet 16. You get a Sweet 16. You get a Sweet 16. We all get Sweet 16.
Got a Sweet 16.
Everybody's in the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm. Everybody.
Do we pick? Are we going to pick them?
What?
We're going to pick the Sweet 16 games?
Oh, we are. We are going to do that. We might not do that today. We can do it today, actually. Today, we're talking Baylor football. Spring practice started yesterday. We're taking your calls at 254-339-1122. We're taking your texts, too, because I get it. Some of you guys looking at me, you're like, hey, listen, Drake, I'm at work.
Right.
I can't call you right now. I'd love to call you, but I can't. That's fine. You can text us, 254-339-1122. The Impact Health Labs call line, the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line. Both of those are open. We got a packed show for you today. How about it? We're going to hear from Adam Hildebrand.
There it is.
You know who that is?
The brand, Hildebrand.
That bingo. You already know.
Do it for the Hildebrand.
Adam's the voice of Oral Roberts. He joins us at 12:30. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. 12:05. Jason King joins the show to talk Baylor men's basketball. Doug Feinberg's been joining us weekly here talking the women's basketball tournament. He's an AP writer for women's basketball. We'll hear from Scott Drew later on, some of his pregame sound bites. Celebrity birthdays, this day in sports history. And today, we flip it over. You're doing the Take 3.
Take 3, baby. I've been grinding on this. I was up late last night doing Take 3, but it's I think we got a good one for this show. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be kind of having a little more hand in the games. I appreciate you delegating that my way. I'm pumped.
Skin in the game. I'm glad you're doing it because I woke up today. I've had 2 tests this week because remember I'm a student from time to time.
You're a student.
Only every now and then. And I had 2 tests this week. So thank you for bearing my load.
I want to help carry that load with you.
You did. You bared that. You buried it. 254-339-1122 is the phone lines open? They will be, though.
Phone lines always open.
The phone lines will be open at 254-339-1122.
Or call our personal number at... Call Armstrong.
Let me give you Armstrong's number.
254.
How about this? Bear Games question of the day today. I like 2 of them. So there's one that you sent that I really like. Adam Hildebrand. Jack? Adam Hildebrand, the voice of the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles. So Bear Games question number 1.
I love this show.
Who has a better chance of winning a national title? The Baylor men or the Baylor women?
Ooh, that's a great question.
What do you think?
I think the Baylor men, dude. I think the women have been so dominant, but I really think that this Baylor men's team is just a team of destiny. Doesn't it kind of feel that way? Like everything's sort of set up for this Baylor program to make a run, especially look at their road to the championship game. I think they got a shot, man. Arkansas would be tough, but I think they got a really good shot.
How about this? Another question. I also like this. What's your favorite basketball-related sports movie?
Ooh.
The ball is tipped.
That's a great question.
There you are.
It'd be hard to not say Coach Carter. I think Coach Carter's probably the 1 seed. Also, Glory Road.
Hoosiers is 1 seed.
Hoosiers is also a 1 seed. I think hopefully they're on different sides of the bracket.
Hoosiers is the 1 seed.
Hoosiers probably Hoosiers probably the Gonzaga. Maybe Baylor or the number 2 overall seed is Coach Carter. Coach Carter's really quotable. Like I couldn't quote Hoosiers quite as well.
Okay. Again, miracle. Again. All right, how about this? Yesterday, Baylor football started their spring practice, spring drills. I got to go.
You were there.
I got to go see with my own 2 eyes. And I've written down some analysis that I had. First and foremost, okay. You know how they always say put the bad news first and then the good news?
Yeah. Do we have bad news already?
We have bad news
Gosh,
already.
dang it.
So the most of the drills the quarterbacks threw, who would you assume the quarterbacks would be throwing to for these drills?
You would assume receivers.
One could only assume that the quarterbacks would be loading up, dropping back, tossing to receivers, right?
Because that's what they do. They receive.
Well, the tight ends are going to be such a vital part of the passing game this year that instead, Jeff Grimes, who is the
OC
and
offensive coordinator and line coach. Tight ends coach.
Tight ends coach.
I was like, where are we going with this?
Jeff Grimes, tight ends coach, has his quarterbacks tossing the rock to the tight ends in drills. So you go out there and you see Gary Bohannon and Jacob Zeno, I'm like Kyron Drones, the freshman, and Blake Shapen. They'll do little bootleg routes. They'll go just stand and throw. I get to watch them warm up. I mean, when you can watch a quarterback warm up and tell who is the quarterback. You know, like who's that alpha male guy that you're like, all right, leadership abilities, vocal. You can see a lot of that in warm up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I'm going to start with the not so good. The not so good. I watched Sims. Ben Sims.
Ben Sims,
He was tight end number 1, catching passes from Jacob Zeno. So by tight end number 1, I mean he started the drills first. Okay. Jacob Zeno started the drills first. So you go into a quarterback tight end passing drill. Jacob Zeno is the first guy to go, first guy to get the rep. Ben Sims is the first guy to get the rep, okay? I watched Ben Sims drop at least 3 or 4 passes.
Okay.
Just like, oh, buddy. We are looking at, like, if we're going to get the tight end action in this ball game, we gotta catch that ball.
Yeah.
Granted, I probably would have dropped some passes from Jacob Zeno, too.
Had some heat on it.
I'm not a Division I tight end.
Yeah.
I'm not a Division I tight end.
Yeah.
Christoph Henley, he got a lot of the second reps. After that, you can see a regression on the tight end side, but I thought Christoph looked okay. He dropped a couple passes too. Our tight end's got to get there.
Was Dabney healthy? I feel like he's the best receiving tight end of the group. Was he healthier? I heard different things about him being healthy or not.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say that why I'm not as concerned for them dropping passes first day of spring practice, when you haven't run a ton of routes, especially with a helmet on in a long time, your eye line takes a while to adjust. So for those first few reps, you're running, the eye line is like bouncing quite a bit. So I think hopefully, as reps go on and they'll get more comfortable in a helmet, those hands will become a little more insured, like Allstate. But that's not good. That's not ideal. Never good drop passes.
The first pass of spring practice was from Zeno to Sims, and it was a drop. And I was like, let's hope that doesn't stick around. And it stuck around. So that's the bad. I will tell you, we did not get to see a lot of the receiver action. Okay. So I tried to get a little bit. Marshall Burns says, oh crap, I'm late. Can y'all start over from the top? Marshall, we're talking football right now. Awesome. Spring practice yesterday. So I think I really wanted to see more of the receiver group. Didn't get to see a ton of that. They were doing a lot of footwork stuff, really hammering the footwork things. You can't tell a ton of stuff from that. I will say this, Tyquan Thornton, I remember seeing Tyquan Thornton a couple of years ago. You look at him, you're like, that's a small dude.
Yeah.
That's a small dude. He's not, I don't want to say scrawny, he's just lanky. Tyquan Thornton's lanky.
Yeah.
And then I thought, new Vic Valoria, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to see this different Tyquan Thornton, this just jacked guy. And I didn't. I was a little bit disappointed in his physique, but still, unbelievable receiver. Yeah. I mean, really, really good. I think he's going to be just fine but still got work to do in the weight room for Tyquan Thornton. And maybe they're just working his legs.
Built for speed, too.
Built for speed.
Aerodynamic. 4.29. Legit
4.29.
Yeah.
My favorite, I was so impressed with the defensive backs. I thought the defensive backs looked really good. You know why? Ron Roberts was doing a lot of individual stuff with the DBs.
Okay.
He was getting it. I mean, that dude was getting it. Ron Roberts is a great defensive coordinator. I mean, very vocal, everything they did was crisp. You know what else was crisp? sometimes you can tell a lot about a football program from their warm-up as a team.
Yeah.
So Vic Valoria, Jack.
Yeah.
Just like, bro, he is every strength coach.
Which you need.
Right. He leads the warm-ups, which I feel like that's pretty.
I think that's standard.
Right.
That's
That
standard.
seems standard. So
Yeah.
he leads the warm-ups, but it's very just, it's like he's doing a haka every time they're doing stretches. And you're like, okay, this guy's intense. I don't want him yelling at me.
Like, I'll follow this guy in the dark alley.
Right. So they do their warm-up, and they do a pretty extensive warm-up that was like, okay, these guys, they all, you're kind of getting your development of, all right, how do they look in comparison to last year?
Sure.
Physically. And then they took us outside, and to get to see the quarterbacks warm up. At that point, immediate realization, Kyron Drones is the largest person I've seen in my life.
Really? Yeah, he was big is what I heard.
Oh.
I heard Grayson and Craig break it down a little bit. He's bigger than Bohannon. Is what it sounds like.
Substantially.
Really? Okay.
Substantially. Now, Bohannon's got huge legs, tree trunk stuff. Just huge legs.
Yeah.
Drones, same deal. I'm talking massive quads.
Wow.
The guy's just ripped. Looks like a strong physical. Now on roster, how about this? The roster had Jacob Zeno at 6'1".
Okay.
I don't think that's right.
You think he's taller?
I looked at Jacob Zeno and I saw 6'4". He is he's got the pocket passer kind of look. But when you compare him to Kyron Drones just ripped, jacked. Drones is about 10 pounds heavier than Jacob Zeno and 3 inches shorter.
Interesting.
Zeno's got a very lanky build. Now, he came in awfully lanky.
Zeno did, yeah.
Right, so
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
built some muscle. He's built some muscle, but he's still got a ways to go when it comes to having the physique of a strong, big, mature quarterback. I was impressed, thoroughly impressed, and I wrote down in my notes, Jacob Zeno, quarterback, period. You can tell that Zeno, when he sets up to call his shots, he gets up to the line or the mock, whatever, the guy's tossing the football, and he just, it's a hot.
Yeah.
Even in his cadence, you can tell, all right, this guy, everything he does is loud, very, just on point, good, on the field, leader when it comes to, hey, you need a guy that's going to be, look, this is his field. Loved that. Good spot for Drones. Loved Drones. He was sitting it in there. He was sitting it in where he needed to throw. Lacked a great spiral.
Interesting.
Lacked
the ball
a great
wasn't coming
spiral.
out clean.
There wasn't a ton of clean passes from Drones. Granted that he's 17, 18.
Sure.
First spring practice ever.
First
Division
time
I
putting
football.
on a Baylor football helmet.
Jacob Zeno, quarterback, period. Loud, not a lot of muscle. He had a couple underthrows.
Okay.
Maybe that comes with a lack of arm streak, with a lack of that muscle. I don't know. I know that Drones can gun it, air it out. We didn't get to see a ton of that from Jacob Zeno. Again, they're throwing the tight ends. They're throwing the tight ends deep.
Sure.
Gary Bohannon, best spiral.
Really?
The best spiral. Maybe not the best zip, but he had the best spiral of anybody that was out there in spring practice. He had a pretty good zip. He had solid zip. He was big. His legs were big. I didn't see a lot out of Gary that I didn't like yesterday.
Interesting.
I didn't see a lot that I didn't like. He had a pretty spiral. I thought Gary did pretty well.
And he's the oldest in that group. Did he have the most command of the field? No, you said Zeno's kind of like.
I think Zeno had the most command of the field.
Okay.
I think Zeno had the most command of the field yesterday.
Vocal? Was he the most vocal?
I would say he was the most vocal too.
Okay.
I would say Jacob Zeno carried himself like QB1 in that practice. Then Blake Shapen.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
Blake Shapen, his legs are smaller. Upper body's there, but he's built like a baseball player.
Right. Yep.
So he's got smaller legs,
Just
upper
shortstop.
body, shortstop. Here's the deal. When I saw Drone, Zeno, and Bohannon all throw the football, you could see they got that quarterback look to them, right?
Yeah.
But they weren't zipping the football in there every throw wasn't just a hard, I'm going to gun this ball in there.
Yeah.
Blake Shapen, with every throw, which he's got shorter arms, a little bit shorter arms,
Yeah.
just a gun, absolute cannon of an arm. He had far and away he had the prettiest ball that I saw yesterday. Over the shoulder to a tight end. Prettiest ball that I saw yesterday.
Saw that, yeah.
Not only did he have that, he also had the best zip of any of the every throw that he threw, you could tell he was using every bit of his upper body to get the ball in there and make sure that it was a tight, quick spiral. That said, he is a baseball player.
Yeah.
So you could see in a bootleg, he would come across. He is running like a baseball player. His legs are crossing like a baseball player. When he throws the ball, he's coming like shortstop off the back foot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like hey, I'm set, I'm up top, I'm gunning. It's we're coming across the dime and throw.
Yeah.
So you can tell the baseball mechanics are there, and maybe that's why he throws such a crisp ball. That said, the mechanics aren't there for football, I don't think, yet.
Interesting. Okay, I think that's good because kind of the dark horse for me in this whole thing, just because he offers a completely different element than all the other quarterbacks. All the other guys, I mean, Bohannon, Zeno, Drones, all more physically imposing kind of players, all guys that I think, could honestly all have packages, I think, especially Drones and Bohannon. Shapen kind of gives you, I said Zach Wilson yesterday, he's a smaller Zach Wilson. In my mind, he's more similar to Baker Mayfield, I think, just in terms of size, height, swag, quick release. So for Shapen to be the guy, he's going to have to be lightning quick release, elite accuracy, and then also he's going to have to pick up this playbook quicker than everybody else, because I think physically he is a little, I don't want to say he's behind physically, but he's not Gary Bohannon. He's not going to run you over and get 4 yards on a quarterback battle.
You know who had unbelievable separation out of the group yesterday and will be my starter tomorrow?
Zeno.
None of them.
Really? Okay.
None of them.
I was gonna say.
I think we are in the heat of a quarterback battle. It's going to take us a long way. I mean, this right here is only day one of spring practice, what we got to see yesterday. I thought Zeno carried himself the best as a quarterback. If I had to start somebody right now, it probably would be Jacob Zeno, because he's been there.
Is it Zeno's to lose?
I think it's Zeno's to lose right now. Zeno was taking first reps. Gary was taking second reps. Then it was Shapen. Then it was Drones. That said, this is the first time they're really getting to see Drones in live ball drills, in pads. I mean, helmet, shoulder pads, gunning it.
Did they do anything competitive yesterday? Or was it any 7-on-7?
So what we saw, just drills. Solely
just
drills, what we saw. So shorts, shoulder pads, helmet. But I'm telling you, tight end's going to have a lot of questions. Didn't see a ton of the receivers. That doesn't mean anything. The line, I like Eric Mateos a lot.
Yeah.
I thought Eric Mateos was very vocal. Not only was he vocal, Jeff Grimes was vocal, Ron Roberts was vocal. It seemed like the entire staff was very on top of it. And Dave Aranda was omnipresent. The dude was everywhere.
Really?
So he was every drill at once.
Did he kind of command the practice as well? Because I think a lot of people last year when they were losing, he's not, the leader we need. He's too passive, this, that, and the other, which, any coach who isn't just a crazy psychopath, maniac screamer is going to get that when your team's not doing well. But when you're doing well, it's like, okay, he's just, he's stoic. He knows what he's doing. He just lets his coaches coach. What did you see from him yesterday in terms of commanding a practice field?
Up close and personal, drill to drill, looking at what's going on, seeing, assessing, and helping out where he needs to. And another big thing, the line. Yeah, I think the line's going to end up being okay. They didn't have necessarily the size that I wanted. I think the videos that we've been seeing out of the strength and conditioning program gave me the impression I was going to show up and see an SEC football team, Georgia and Alabama. They're not there yet, but I still liked the size.
Yeah,
I liked the size.
As long as they can play as a unit. I think they have the personnel. Maybe they don't have the number one, like you said, they don't have maybe Oklahoma's offensive line, but they have enough to get done what they need to get done, especially with the skill players they have. They can run zone and get to where they need to be if you got Quaylon Jones coming downhill.
They won a spring practice in the books. G-Dub, what's going on, man? Welcome on to Up Tempo, as always.
What's up, guys?
What up,
G? How you doing today, G-Dub?
Hey, they said, Craig and Grayson said that Elijah Bean and Gibson, the two freshman wide receivers, they said they looked impressive. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to move Bean to tight end, because he came in 6'5", 195
huge.
Already.
He's huge.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be surprised if they didn't move him to tight end.
Interesting. 195 is a little bit light in my mind, especially if you want to have him, connected to the line and have him go block for a power play. But 195, especially getting into a college program for the first time, as a college freshman, your body is just begging to put on weight, especially depending on what your high school strength program was like. So, I think he'd probably still have to put on 20 pounds-ish. So that's a lot to put on before the fall practice. But, if anyone's going to do it, it'd be Vic Valoria.
Oh, yeah. And then the quarterback, in my mind, the quarterback battle, it's going to go all the way up to that first game against Texas State, to where they won't announce anything. Shit, you probably won't even see who's the starter till somebody runs out there.
Do you have a favorite in that one, G-Dub? Who's your guy? Drake's big on Zeno. It's hard for me to disagree on Zeno. Excuse me, you're big on Drones and Zeno. Drones. Yeah, you like Drones, but Zeno's kind of the guy to it's his job to lose from what we're understanding just based on, first look yesterday. Do you have a guy that you like in this clubhouse?
Here's the thing. I like Zeno's arm better than Gary, but I like Gary's legs better than Jacob's.
Interesting.
But if I had to pick one, if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Jacob, just because he's a San Antonio kid.
There you go. 2-horse race for G-Dub.
G-Dub, what else you got for us?
I got a question for y'all.
Yeah,
love it.
If y'all could pick one movie to go see with one Big 12 coach, any movie, which coach is it and what movie?
Wow. You got an answer
Football,
for this?
basketball, baseball. Which sport are we limited to with the coach?
Any coach.
Oh,
Current?
wow. I'm going to go outside of Baylor.
Yeah,
I think we should go outside of Baylor.
Outside of Baylor. Wow. Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Dude, me and Ed Ogeron are going to go see Remember the Titans.
Big 12, he said.
Oh, it's got to be Big 12. Me and Lincoln Riley are going to see Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans?
Me and Big Link. I want to hear his take on that. Also, Remember the Titans, such a great movie. I could watch that with anybody.
I'm going to take Mike Gundy to see Frailty. Frailty is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of those movies that messes with your mind. It's an Inception kind of movie.
I've never seen it.
I know. No one has. That's what makes it so great.
Frailty.
Don't go watch it because you ever had those movies that like you love and no one else does and you don't want anybody to ruin it?
No.
You can watch it. I'll give you permission.
Hype.
Folks at home don't. G-Dub, my question for you, what is your favorite basketball-related sports movie?
Cartoon would have to be Space Jam, and like non-animated would probably have to be Hoosiers.
Ooh, that's good.
Man.
I love that. G-Dub, appreciate you asking us questions, too. That's a lot of fun for us.
That was good.
It's fun for me.
G-Dub, and then who do you have more confidence in winning the national championship? Is that the men or the women for Baylor?
They both have I'm probably going to have to go with the men just because UConn's in the women's side of the bracket.
That's a good point.
And y'all know how that game always goes. It's always a one-possession game.
Yeah.
So you just don't know up to that point.
Is Gino back?
Yeah, Gino's back.
Gino's back.
As of yesterday.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, I think it'd be the men just because it seems like if they take care of what they need to take care of, they could easily make the Final Four. But the women have to go through UConn in the Elite Eight if they get there. So
concurred. Hey, G-Dub, we got to go real quick here. Then we're getting to Matt in D.C. We got Tarzan or the Little Mermaid? Is it called Little Mermaid?
Tarzan.
And then Moana or Tangled?
Tangled.
Lock it in. Hey, G-Dub, thanks for your call, man.
All right, thanks, man.
You're the man, Dub.
Absolutely. Hey, Matt in D.C., talking spring practice. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, appreciate it, man. I got to start off by being honest, man. I wasn't too pumped up about this the spring ball this year just because I wasn't sure what to expect, and maybe just because I've been so wrapped up in basketball. It's just like, I'm not sure, and I'm still kind of in a wait-and-see moment. But then I listened to SicEm365. Grayson and Craig came on, and they got me re-pumped back up with what they saw and about how much bigger and stronger everyone is, and that, just getting back to that standard of just having the strength to be able to, push people around got me really pumped up. I will have to say that.
Different attitude this year, it sounds like.
Different attitude. I really think it was a different level of intensity that made me – it felt good, to be out there, but seeing the different level of intensity really was reassuring, I think, Whereas I think there's still a ways to go physically. There is still a lot this program can do. I honestly thought I saw more impressive things yesterday than I expected to.
Yep. And then going back to y'all's point about the new strength and conditioning coach, Vic, I remember back when he was running the Florida State days, like early Jimbo Fisher, everyone always said that Florida State team, I think it was like that 2011-16 when they had that really dominated run, they had a national championship playoff appearance. Everyone said that the team was built like an SEC-style team, even though they were in the ACC, because that's like Jimbo's background. So we may see a little transformation into becoming bigger, stronger, faster like our SEC opponents, which we're going to have to if we ever want to get to the next elite level. This year's goal has to be, get to a bowl game. And my first goal every year is to beat anyone whose name has Texas in it. So we're playing 4 Texas teams, beat those guys, and get to a bowl game, and then we'll go from there and see what happens.
Boom, baby.
We're looking good.
Matt and DC.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you hit it.
I was going to say, it's interesting you bring up the Florida State days for Vic Valori because previously Florida State had been known as like a speed school in terms of how they train their athletes. And so I'm interested to see will this team's speed look different for Baylor? I can't imagine the defense gets much faster, but on offense, are we going to see a different level of speed from our skill players? So it'll be fun to see. We're gonna find out.
Matt and DC, I want to know from you, if you had to choose a quarterback today, without seeing even spring practice or just hearing Craig and hearing Grayson, who's your quarterback you're going with?
Well, I just find it very interesting that a true freshman shows up bigger and stronger than a 3-year quarterback's been on campus for 3 years. So I find that very interesting.
And genetics play favorites.
That being said, he's sizes and everything, but I just find it very interesting. We're recruiting we may be recruiting bigger, faster guys, and then these guys have been on campus for 3 years, and all of a sudden you got I call them Shark Bear because we went to North Shore Sharks and they have the coolest mascot in Texas high school football besides the La Vega Pirates. But yeah, he's bigger and stronger. So right now I'm going to rank him. I'm going to rank him right now. My 1, 2, 3 is Zeno, Jeroens, and Bohannon.
Wow.
As the starting 3.
There you go.
Hey, how about favorite basketball-related sports movie?
The greatest basketball sports movie, and it still holds up today. You could reshoot the exact same movie with just, different characters and just replace and Rick Pitino happened to be in it, and that's Blue Chips. Blue Chips is still accurate today. They're still handing out tractors to the farm kids. They're still giving cars to kids, and it's so accurate. You got the boosters running it, as we saw with the Adidas thing. Rick Pitino's in the movie. He was part of the Louisville thing, and it just you could reshoot it. And there's a lot of great comedy in it.
And it just makes sense.
Never saw it.
How about the men or the women? Who do you have more confidence in winning a national title?
Usually I'd say the women, but with the women's game being so tight this year, as far as there's no real dominant team, and I'm going to have to say the men. I'm going to lean toward the men. It's very close, but we got to play. We're in UConn's bracket, but if you go through them, we'll see what happens. But the men can definitely get the national championship game, and I think we'll probably be playing Michigan because Michigan's going to bounce Gonzaga.
Jeez, how about this? I know you're maybe not the biggest Disney guy, but Tarzan or The Littlest Mermaid. I know you've seen those. Is it Little or Littlest?
I think it's The Little.
Oh my gosh, it's so The Little Mermaid. How would you possibly think it's The Little Mermaid?
I'll say that.
How are you running this bracket and you don't even know that? Oh my gosh.
What's up, Matt and DC?
Embarrassment.
Gosh.
Tarzan may be the king of the jungle, but Little Mermaid is one of the most classic Disney films ever made. So we got to go Little Mermaid.
Thank you,
Little Mermaid. And then
thank you.
What do you call it?
Moana or Tangled? These are pretty popular.
I'm gonna go with Moana.
Thank you.
I haven't finished either of those.
Okay, Moana. How about it? Hey, thanks for your call, Matt and DC.
Solid picks.
Armstrong approves.
Thank you. Make sure you watch Blue Chips tonight. You got to watch it.
I'll have to.
Together.
Yeah,
we got T-Rex and the Impact Health Labs call line, but I just want to say, I think if you would have named the movie The Littlest Mermaid, it just changes the entire premise. It goes from her being a mermaid to a human to hey, the funny part is that she's the smallest mermaid of all.
Yeah.
She's the smallest mermaid.
She's always the last pick on the playground.
Did you actually think that is Littlest Mermaid?
I did. Steven from Virginia, call us back in a little bit, my man. I know you were there. I could see you there. Hey, T-Rex, what's going on? It's football season.
It's not okay.
Hey, it is football season. Man, it's always football season in the great land of Texas.
Isn't that true?
If you're not playing a game, then you're practicing for a game. So it's always football season here in God's country.
That's so true.
Country.
I love that.
I saw the light of...
T-Rex, what are your thoughts, man? I know there was extensive coverage from SicEm365. Talk to me about what your thoughts were based on everything that the good people over here were talking about.
I mean, just like y'all said just a little bit ago, it seems like there's a new attitude. As much as I have been vocal about not blaming COVID for things because everybody had to deal with it, we didn't have a spring practice. But then again, I can go back and forth about, no one else did. But, we were in a unique situation. We had a new coach. We didn't get to put all that together. So just the fact that we get a spring to put things into place, that's going to make a huge difference. Who knows what Fedora would have looked like if the system was in place come, the second week of the year. Luckily, we started the year out against Kansas last season, and that was just the luck of the draw. So who knows what would have happened? Who knows what our strengths would have looked like with I can't remember his name, but he was jacked. So I'm kind of surprised that a jacked strength and conditioning coach couldn't get the job done. But who knows, right? It doesn't matter. Vic's here. Everything's good to go. I'm just excited, man. I think this team is going to finally start getting back to true Power 5 level football. Just because you're in the conference, I mean, look at Kansas; they're not a Power 5 football team. They just aren't. So we got to play the part. We can't just be like we did for 15 years or so. We're not 15 years, but at least 10 years. Just be part of it, right? Just ride the pine in the Big 12. So I feel like we got the coaching staff in place. I mean, only time will tell. Obviously, you got to see what happens come the first game and see what it looks like. But I'm excited, man. I mean, there's a new attitude. You can see the players are jumping around. The players are obviously excited to be back on the field and practicing. The workouts, if you are following that Baylor athletic performance, I believe it is, it's their, or maybe it's strength and conditioning. I don't remember what the Twitter page is, but, they've been posting videos of these guys working out and hitting new PRs in the weight room. We got guys in there that are not offensive linemen or defensive linemen that are putting up 500 pounds on squat or 300 plus pounds on bench press. I think I saw a receiver, maybe it was a DB, that put up 405.
It was Gavin Holmes.
So, I mean, look at that, dude. Like, I mean, that's, like my brother said in the call before, that's SEC level strength, and then, you gotta get to the level that we want to be at. I mean, no matter what we say, the Big 12 is not the SEC when it comes to football.
Yeah.
That just, it just is. So I'm excited. I'm ready to rock and roll. I mean, we got a few months, but hopefully, we don't run into any issues. Texas announced this morning they're shutting down spring practice because of COVID. Hopefully, we don't run into those issues. We can get a full spring practice in because we really need it, and then we can have that spring game in about a month. And hopefully, as of right now, I believe fans are allowed. So hopefully, I see you guys out there. We can do some live coverage because Baylor Nation needs it. I'm excited for that spring game. I haven't been to a spring game since probably I was in high school before I went to college. So it's been at least 10 years probably since I went to one. So I'm excited. I'm excited just for Baylor football, man.
It's going to be a blast, especially if they can get a whole spring session in, which is needed. Texas doesn't really need to. They already won the national championship last year, have a couple of Heismans. So, I mean, they're good. I don't think Texas needs to actually practice.
Hopefully not. They're not going to for a little bit. T-Rex, quarterback battle. Who do you like right now?
I like Zeno, and I'm not by no means about one of those guys that since 2019 Big 12 championship, he played 4 plays, Zeno, right? I'm not one of those guys. I want whoever earns the position out there and who does the best with what we have, right? But it sounds like Zeno's getting it together. Hopefully, that year last year, he didn't get to play as much as he probably wanted to, or a lot of other people wanted to. Maybe got a little motivated. Who knows why he wasn't the starter? I mean, there was talks about he can't, I think there's been talks about, it may not even be Zeno, but I believe somebody said before that he has trouble remembering the plays. If I'm wrong, so be it. But I believe I've heard that. Hopefully he's had these months to get that figured out, and he has all spring. I love Gary, but he's just not, in my opinion, when I look at him, I don't think of a quarterback. I think he can be more of a hybrid position player, maybe a tight end, who knows. Chapin, I'm excited for, but he's a freshman. I guess he'll be technically a sophomore, but last year didn't count.
Yeah.
And then, Drones, excited about what he can bring, but again, he's going to be a freshman. But hey, by no means should a freshman not have a chance. So time will tell. I'm just glad that there's a true quarterback competition going on right now. I think that our coaches understand if you're the best guy for the job, you're going to get that position. So let's just let it play out. Right now, I think Zeno is the clear front runner. But hey, who knows what happens today in practice?
Yeah.
Drones could come out and be the front runner, right? So, I just want a true quarterback competition. Who knows why Brewer started last year versus other people? Maybe Brewer was the best guy for the job last year. So we'll see what happens. Right now, I like Zeno. But hey, if you put green and gold on you, you got Baylor across your chest, I like you. So I don't care if it's a freaking – if Gary McGuire came back for another year, I don't put him in. I don't care if he's the best guy for the job. Play him.
Charlie Brewer. All right, how about this, T-Rex? Favorite basketball movie of all time?
Of all time, I would probably say Blue Chips just because it is, like my brother said on the call before me, it does still apply. You can rearrange those names a lot. But also, and I watched it recently, and I can't remember the name of it, and I believe it's a Disney movie as well. I think it was on Disney Plus. But it's about UTEP, as I guess they weren't UTEP at the time, I believe, when they won the national championship.
Yep.
So
Glory Road.
I could be wrong with the school. But yeah, Glory Road, there you go. Great movie. Again, another, just like yesterday with the movie, I can't even remember the name of it now, but another great movie for our current climate to watch and learn a lesson from.
How about men or women? Who are you more confident in winning a national championship?
Oh, man, this year, I'm going to say men, and that's simply just I look at the past. I'm not scared by Nova, and then we got Arkansas or Oral Roberts to get to the Final Four, right? So I'm not scared by anybody on the schedule on the men's side. The women, we didn't get to play UConn. We were supposed to. Things happened. But, hey, the women are being pretty dominant right now, too. But, again, we played like Jackson State, I think, and somebody, So, who knows? UConn's good, man. They got the best freshmen, like, ever. So, I'm confident in the men. They got the momentum coming back. So, and I'm planning on going to Indy. I'm not planning on going to San Antonio, so I'm a little biased.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah.
And then T-Rex, how about these? Tarzan or the Little Mermaid? Littlest Mermaid.
I'm going to go with the littlest, tiniest mermaid ever. Simply because, two reasons. One, the shipwreck that she explores is theorized to be the shipwreck that allegedly killed Elsa and Anna's parents in Frozen when they left for that wedding, which would have been the wedding in Tangled. There is an overarching large conspiracy theory within many of the Disney movies. So it connects. Tarzan could connect too, but I think, I think Little Mermaid is a little better overarching story there. And Ariel's pretty sick, man. Got like 4 C's. So, THICCCC.
What? Yep, that's English.
I thought she was the littlest.
Hey, proportions matter, man. You know what I'm saying?
Proportions matter. Moana or Tangled?
Animated children's movie character.
I'm going to go with Moana. I actually don't believe we've ever seen Tangled. And Moana, it's a great story. It's got good music. It's got Dwayne Johnson. Makes me want to go drink some of his tequila. When I'm singing the songs. Who doesn't like a good story about exploring the world?
Yeah. Gulliver's Travels. T-Rex, thanks for your call, man.
Good book.
Good movie.
Hey, Pickell Bears.
I've seen it.
Average movie.
I didn't see it later.
The one with Jack Black.
It is an average movie.
Black.
Yeah, it's just
I never
okay.
saw it.
It's pretty funny,
Read
though.
the book, though.
Elastigirl.
Jack Black's great in that movie.
Steven from Virginia, Impact Health Labs caller line. Steven, what's going on, man? Sorry that you waited so long.
Oh, no, you're good, guys. I'm at the gym. I'm getting ready for my semi-pro baseball season this weekend.
Woo!
That's starting up. But I was really excited about the quarterback analysis that y'all provided. It makes me feel a whole lot better about Zeno, in particularly. As a baseball player, I'd been holding out for Chapin to be my pick, but and I like the Baker Mayfield comparison, but I think Zeno is definitely the guy. Just after the first day in which y'all said that impressed me the most.
Yeah.
I think it's Bohannon, and the freshmen are competing to see who redshirts.
Wow. I don't know about that. Bohannon already used his red shirt, didn't he? I think Bohannon, if he doesn't win this job, if I'm him, I'm out, probably. I don't know what Gary's
Where are you going to go?
I was shocked he stayed.
I
totally agree with that.
Arkansas State, I don't know what their quarterback situation is, but he's from Arkansas.
They have a great quarterback situation.
Is it better than Gary Bohannon?
I
don't know. But, all things considered, I think we'll see just how strong a hold Jacob Zeno has on this number one spot after we see some 11-11 scrimmages. Then I think we'll start to see a shuffle in the depth chart. Okay, here's Chapin, he's probably 2, or here's Zeno, he's probably 3, all these things. So I think there's still a lot to be determined, obviously, which goes without saying with 15 spring practices. But all in all, I think it's Zeno's to lose. I'm with you, Drizzy.
How about this? Steven from Virginia, favorite basketball sports movie?
Hoosiers, and that's not even close. That's not a hard one at all.
Right.
Men or women? Who are you more confident in that they will win a national championship? Baylor men or women?
I want to say the men like everybody else, but the women just beat down Virginia Tech, and that's pretty close to home for me. So I feel pretty confident in the way the women play.
Okay, women. Do you like Tarzan or The Littlest Mermaid?
I do like Tarzan. Tarzan was able to swing on the rope and not hold the rope with his hands, and that takes quite a bit of talent.
A lot of grip strength.
Stop. Get some help. Moana or Tangled? Get some help.
I haven't seen either of these, but I heard Armstrong praise somebody who voted Moana, so I'm going to vote Moana as well.
It is.
I vote Moana.
The people.
What else you got for us, Steven?
I'm just really excited about these weekend's games and this spring football, and I definitely think that if Bohannon doesn't get the job, he will transfer. But then again, once he transfers, we talk about maybe Drones as the backup and Shape and redshirting or vice versa.
Yeah.
But I was glad I got the time to give you all a call today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steven. Always good to hear from you. Oh, dang it.
Later, guys?
What the heck?
Guys. Gosh, dang it.
I feel cheated.
That's as automatic as the bing, bing, bing. That's as automatic as the bing, bing, bing.
I feel awful
Speaking of bing, 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 I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong, Sims. When we come back, we're talking a little bit more football. We're going to break down what are the odds that Baylor loses on Saturday.
Yeah.
This is Up Tempo. Bing, bing, bing.
It was a busy day in women's basketball yesterday as the round of 32 concluded. 8 more teams punched tickets to the Sweet 16. Starting with upsets, 6 seed Oregon toppled 3 seed Georgia 57-50, and 6 seed Texas advanced past 3 seed UCLA 71-62. Elsewhere, 2 seed Texas A&M snuck by 7 seed Iowa State 84-82 on a buzzer beater in overtime. Questionable calls down the stretch gave the Lady Aggies an advantage for the second tournament game in a row. On the men's side, everything is gearing up for the Sweet 16 that takes place starting on Saturday. Duke freshman Jamin Brakefield plans to transfer from the team. UNC freshman Dayron Sharp has declared for the NBA draft. Florida sophomore Trey Mann has declared for the NBA draft, and Pittsburgh's Justin Champagny will also test the NBA waters. In football, it's time for spring ball. Baylor kicked off its spring drills yesterday as media got its first look at the 4-person quarterback battle. Another open practice will take place today, and Texas has paused its spring football practice due to COVID-19. Oklahoma coach Lincoln Riley is protesting TCU quarterback Chandler Morse's eligibility after he transferred from Oklahoma. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Arturo Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
What you do in privacy is your own business. What you do in public with your truck, well, that's our business at Pickup Outfitters. In your garage, it's okay for your truck to parade around in the nude with no accessories. Hey, this is still America. But when you bring your truck out in public, it's just common decency to put an outfit on your truck. And that's where we come in at Pickup Outfitters. Put a cover on that bed. Cover your rear end with a bumper and a hitch, for goodness sakes. There are women and children on the roads. And guys, don't leave your tools exposed? Put them in a toolbox. Be proud of your truck and stand tall with a lift kit. Or improve your truck's posture with a leveling kit. Add some class to your pickup with new wheels and tires. Or dress up for a date with your new RV or boat with a fifth wheel or a receiver hitch. At Pickup Outfitters, we're dedicating to making the roads decent for all Central Texans. So when taking your truck out in public, remember your manners and accessorize it properly with an outfit from Pickup Outfitters. 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Cynthia, Jesus died for our Cynthias.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Julia Roberts, Julia Roberts.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll.
And welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Sims. Happy Thursday, Jersey Thursday, folks. Oh my goodness.
Golly.
I love it. Cynthia.
The best rejoin. Well, there's a lot. It's hard to say best when we have so many good ones. He's putting together just masterpieces. Masterpieces. Masterpieces.
Slam poetry.
Linda Livingstone is the master of all the pieces. But we need pieces in our world.
Specific viewpoint on things. Cynthia. Cynthia.
I love
You're
that.
dead. You are dead. Beepa poopa.
People that don't know what that movie is are going to just be so
Did you know that's improvised?
The whole thing's improvised. No
whole
way.
thing's improvised.
Dude, he's talented. Jonah Hill.
Slam.
Talented.
Poetry.
Did y'all see the second one? Did y'all like the second one? 22 Jump Street?
Yeah.
It's like the same movie, pretty much.
Really?
Would you agree?
More one-liners, I'd say.
Really?
I'd say more one-liners.
Yeah.
He's what is it? He's like, Jesus cried, runaway bride.
He doesn't miss. He doesn't miss.
So good. It's so good.
That's off the dome too.
Julia, Rob Hurts. Oh, great. Yeah, you're right. If people out there don't get it, then
they need to go watch that movie.
Zios, live better, folks. Zios, live better. That's for your Thursday. Scotty B, the Baylor King, says, out of all the 5 women's basketball tournament brackets, I got 10 to 12 teams correct for Sweet 16.
That's good.
However, I did not think Texas would be one of those teams. And UConn women's basketball might not have Nika Mole still due to a sprained ankle. We'll see if she plays. So that'd be a big thing. I mean, how about that? Baylor could get maybe not the healthiest UConn. So shout for the Lady Bears as they play Michigan this weekend. Again.
If you miss once, you're going to want to miss again.
You don't want to miss again.
You don't want to miss this again.
Oh, okay.
I heard a conversation the other day that said, why not
us?
Why not us? And why not shrink the women's tournament to 16 teams?
No.
Why not do that?
No.
I mean, I understand like it would be less fun.
You know how many upsets there have been already?
Really? Have
there
there
were
been
a lot of
upsets?
There were a good amount of first round upsets too.
Were there
yes.
though? By teams that are going to make a run at this thing?
Yes.
Really?
Mike Neighbors, Washington. He was at Washington. Neighbors like an 8 seed. They made it to the Final Four. You take that away. Arkansas did the same thing in the 90s. You take that away, you take it away. Come on.
I'm pro.
No.
Let's just do 16 teams.
What do you think, Armstrong? What say you? 16 teams, the women's bracket?
Less parity.
No.
Make it a bigger deal. Make it a bigger deal.
16 teams, the women's bracket.
I don't know.
You screw over the automatic bids. Nobody gets an automatic bid. You're telling me the AP top 16 are the only ones that make the tournament.
They should.
The number 17 team in the country, in the entire nation, doesn't make the tournament.
Who was it this year?
Virginia Tech.
Are they still in the tournament?
Shut up. I don't want to talk about it. But the number 35 team's still there. They're still dancing.
Yeah.
I'm still standing.
I guess the competitor in me is give them all a chance, let them all play. But are they really making money on those games? Also, are any of those teams going to make a run at the Final Four?
When you think of here's something that puts in perspective for me. When I think of a 6 seed, okay, do you think a 6 seed's do you want to be a 6 seed?
I have a 6 seed in my Final Four.
Do you want to be a 6 seed though?
No.
Nah, you don't want to be a 6 seed, right? USC.
Well, I got a UCLA on, so. Yeah, but still.
Upsets. So think about, do you want to be a 6 seed? Not really. 6 seed's not great, right?
No.
If you do the math, the 6 seed is the number 24 team in the country. It's still a top 25 team.
Yeah.
Whereas when I see 6 seed, I'm like, yeah. If Baylor was to play a 6 seed, I'd be like, whatever. Whatever.
You would not.
Well, then the conference tournaments matter more.
6 seed? I'm not scared of a 6 seed. Are you?
Scared of anyone over a 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'd
say scared. Scared's subjective.
We're talking about men's or women's here?
Men's.
Yeah.
I'm not scared.
Well, yeah, but see, that's the thing. Men's, there, and that lies my point. If you're the women's seed, if you're the women's tournament, you're probably not worried about the lower seeds. In the men's tournament, anything can happen. There's much more parity. So, with less parity, I think there should be less teams.
Parity. Speaking of parrot,
Parrot tea.
Talk to you in your sleep. Your parrot,
I drink parrot tea for lunchtime. Time flies so fast. Fast, not eating. I don't know what the show is anymore.
Why was that so good? I was so bad that it was good. Thanks. No, it was atrocious.
So bad it was good.
I thought it was funny. We'll take it. That was good.
We'll take it.
Baylor 7.5-point favorites this week against Villanova. They have a 66.2% chance to win. Did you know Jeremiah Robinson-Earl averages 16 points per game, 50% from the field, 72% at the free throw line? He's going to be their big forward. What has to go wrong? What has to go unbelievably, terribly wrong for Baylor to lose?
I think that the most common denominator we see in upsets is rebounds and shooting. And so for Villanova to win this game, they need to attack Baylor's bigs and somehow win the rebounding battle. Second part of that is they need to shoot the lights out, which I don't foresee happening with Baylor's perimeter defense. You got Vital, Mitchell, Butler. Just the same cast of characters. But Villanova has to hit tough shots and find a way to get good looks from the outside and make those. Because, I think for Villanova, you have to play nearly perfect shooting-wise to be able to hang with this Baylor team. What say you?
I say Jeremiah Robinson-Earl is a pretty good big man. I think if he goes out there and just dominates, if he drops 25 points, Baylor's going to struggle, man. The big man game is what plays it. Also, did you see, this is kind of off topic, UNC had a player transfer, a freshman transfer, 6'11", 243.
Did he? Okay, he hit the portal?
Walker Kessler?
No. He's going to the NBA draft, not transfer. I'm sorry.
Daron Sharp.
Yes, Sharp. Huge.
Baylor, he was so good.
Baylor would have.
He was the main guy I was worried about.
Who's going to stop him?
Yeah.
See,
he was so good.
Here's another question. Is one guy going to beat Baylor? My answer to that is no. They play too much team defense. There's too much scoring on that team for Baylor. I don't think one guy does it. We saw Kid Cunningham obviously pop off, but that was the third time they played him. I think it has to be two players to beat this Baylor defense.
That's very possible. I think it has to be more than two, I'd even say. I think Villanova's going to have to come out there firing. Shots got to fall. You got to think about what helped Oklahoma State beat Baylor. I thought Baylor's defense in that game was just not par. It did not meet the par that we're typically used to in seeing a Baylor game. Yeah. That's why Oklahoma State won. That's the Kansas game, COVID, you got that excuse, right? I'm going to go ahead and lock me in on, COVID, that sucked. Oklahoma State, there's not that excuse.
Yeah.
You just have the fact that, hey, Baylor went out and lost the game. They lost the first half. They lost the second half. They lost by 9 to Oklahoma State because the defense wasn't there. Look at the box score of that game, team stats of that game. Oklahoma State shot 48%. 6 for 15 behind the arcs, not great. That's still 40%, though. And they shot, outside of that, 28 for 59 from the field.
Yeah. And Cade Cunningham got, 25? Cade Cunningham popped. And then they had other guys that supported that role that were able to contribute in points.
21 and 26 at the free throw line. Shot well at the free throw line.
That's huge. That's
Rebounded well. Yeah. I mean, you got to, in a game like that where a team comes out and shoots well and Baylor's defense is not up to par, Baylor's going to have, I'm not saying that they won't lose every time necessarily, but it's possible. And I think against Villanova, that is the cocktail of things that could go wrong. That's where it starts for Baylor to lose, is if they lose, or if Villanova comes out shooting hot. I'm trying to put my words together.
And I will say, more, like we talked about it, more than one Villanova player will have to have not just their best game like in the tournament, the best game of the season, if not their life. Like there'll have to be multiple players that have just unbelievable performances for Baylor to end up falling in this round because they're shorthanded. They're guys that haven't been asked to be that much of a productive unit in terms of what they've brought scoring the basketball. Gillespie's done a lot of that. So for them to be in that role now, it's going to be new, and I think it's going to be obviously favoring Baylor.
All right, 254-339-1122. Phone line's still open. We're going to play a little game here pretty soon. You can call in and play it with us. How about it, folks? Tell your friends that Uptempo's live today. You can go watch it on YouTube. You can go watch it on your Roku. You can watch it on, I bet we're on cable somewhere. Somebody's probably illegally pirating this. I hope so. I bet we're pirated somewhere.
I hope like a small town in Texas.
You can go to SicEm365.com. Amy Robbins says hi. Hi, Amy.
Hey,
Amy, great to hear from you. You can go to SicEm365.com/live, and you can click live. And guess what it does?
Live.
It makes you live. It makes you live.
And if not, you know what else happens?
Can't sue us.
Can't sue us. And you end up on a little game that we play earlier.
Oh, we play that on Tuesdays.
Play it on Tuesday.
Nice. Up top.
Up top, up tempo.
Up tempo. So yeah, tell your friends. Say like, hey friend, listen, hear me out, you guys. If every up tempo listener right now tells one other person about up tempo, that doubles the listenership.
It does.
And if that one person tells two people, and then you go and you tell two different people, that like quintuples the listenership.
I was hoping you were going to ask me what that does. I was like, I have no idea what that does to it.
I'm in ideas and mathematics right now. Speaking of, I just got an update on my grade. Oh, I skipped a whole question and still got a 22 out of 25.
Let's go.
Big players make big plays in big moments.
No mercy. And he was at spring practice.
And I was at spring practice.
Talk to me about
But yeah, tell your friends to tell you. And within 6 days, the entire world, Chatham to Zambia, can be listening.
Chatham to Zambia.
Can be listening to Uptempo. You get it.
I get it. It's a Chance the Rapper lyric.
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
That's great.
I listen to Chance the Rapper.
I'm moving on my family from Chatham to Zambia.
As in rapper, soccer, hacky sacker. All right, we're playing a little game today. Armstrong, you want to play it with us?
It's good.
Sorry.
And it's homemade.
He just stood up. Armstrong was going to go away. He was going to walk away.
We'll take 3 action. As they say, I got 6 sports facts. Where are they? To quote the great Drizzy Drake Toll, 3 true, 3 false. You decide which are which.
Okay.
Waiting for a call, or we're just rolling with it?
We're just rolling
We're just rolling with it. True or false?
Oh, Jack can play. You think Jack wants to play?
Jack, you want to play? Jack is shaking his head. He does not want to play. No capes.
No capes.
First fact, Saquon Barkley was originally committed to Rutgers before decommitting and later committing to Penn State.
Even though he played for Penn State, quite honestly.
Stop. Really?
Okay.
Stop.
We all set?
Yeah.
I'm going to lock in.
What do we say now?
I'm going to say true.
I said true.
Say true. Buddy Hield from Oklahoma holds the record for most points by a single player in the Farrell Center with 52 points against the Bears on their senior night in 2016.
Sean Bonner.
I would not know.
I'm going to go false.
What do you say, Armstrong?
True.
All right. Scott Drew. You guys know Scott Drew.
Scott.
Yay, hi. Come over. Had originally planned to follow his sister Dana to law school but decided to pursue a career in coaching when he scored 2 standard deviations below the mean on 2 separate occasions.
I'm going to go with true, actually. Yeah. I think that's true.
I like true for that, but...
Oh, yeah, you got 3 trues off the board.
Okay, we got 3 trues.
I might have to go back and change one.
The music.
Johnny Manziel was quoted saying he was drunk or hungover at nearly every Friday walkthrough for Texas A&M during college.
Why are these all 4 of these are true?
I think false.
I'm gonna go with true.
Yeah, that sounds true, though.
I have exhausted my truths.
There it is. In 1980, Mike Singletary recorded 14 tackles in a loss to SMU. Singletary later learned he had suffered hairline fractures in both forearms during the first drive of the game. True or
False. False. So false.
Both forms, yeah, I'd say false.
False. Final answers?
Sounds true.
Yeah, false.
Last one. In 1940, Cornell beat Dartmouth 7-3, scoring their only touchdown of the game on a 5th down thanks to a referee error. Cornell would later offer a forfeit of the game to Dartmouth, and Dartmouth would accept claiming the victory. It's known as the 5th down game at Cornell. True or false?
Oh, Sean. I'm going to go with
I got
false.
true.
I'm going to go
Even though
false.
I mean,
I'm going to stick to my guns.
That's 4 truths, but
I love it. Rock and roll. Saquon Barkley, originally committed to Rutgers.
False.
True story. He was committed to Rutgers.
Let's go.
You got that right.
And they were like he got offered. They were like surprised that he was surprised. Like he was like, I'm that good to go to Rutgers, and he was better than Rutgers. Buddy Hield holds the record for most points by a single player in the Farrell Center. Made that up.
Yeah.
Okay,
might be true, but I don't think it was 52, and I don't think it was on senior night. True. Scott Drew, law school. Made that up. Don't know if he ever took the LSAT.
No.
But I think his sister did go to law school. I think so.
Sounded real.
Dana.
Johnny Manziel, drunk/hungover, according to him at every Friday walkthrough. True story.
True money, baby.
The
True
story
money.
is after Halloween, he missed a meeting, came to practice, still kind of hungover, balled out at Mississippi State the next day, like threw for 300, ran for 100. Absolute freak.
Stupid.
Mike Singletary, hairline fractures in forearms. Don't know. Could be true, but made it up.
Could be true.
Made it up.
Could be true. Both forearms.
The 5th down game, Cornell and Dartmouth. That is a true story, and for whatever reason, Cornell holds that in really high esteem. They did the right thing. It reminds me of this All-State commercial. It's a championship game, Alex.
Championship game.
Cornell, it wasn't the championship game, but they decided to tell Dartmouth. Apparently, the guy who told Cornell, "Hey, we should go ahead and," someone on the faculty for Cornell said, "Hey, we should send him a telegram, offer a forfeit." The guy was a Dartmouth alumni, so that just feels like home cooking. But all things considered, that's been take 3. I think it was. You got 3. I think y'all might have tied.
I think we tied.
Really?
Yeah,
I got the last 2, which kind of saved me.
Good stuff.
Wait, you said false in the last 2? Okay.
One was false, one was true.
I got
False, true.
You get a point for everyone you get correct. Is that right?
So the order is
yes.
true, false.
How else would you do it?
True, false, true.
It's true, false, false, true. False, true.
False, true, yeah. I got 3.
Okay, I got 4. Sorry.
Drizzy Drake taking it home.
I'm Drake Toll. That's Armstrong Sims. That's J.D. Pickell. And when we come back, Jason King. Did I actually get 4?
You're a beast. You guys are both.
We'll just say we're tied.
Those were good by y'all.
And this is Up Tempo. Go walk your dog.
It was a busy day in women's basketball yesterday as the round of 32 concluded. 8 more teams punched tickets to the Sweet 16. Starting with upsets, 6 seed Oregon toppled 3 seed Georgia 57-50, and 6 seed Texas advanced past 3 seed UCLA 71-62. Elsewhere, 2 seed Texas A&M snuck by 7 seed Iowa State 84-82 on a buzzer beater in overtime. Questionable calls down the stretch gave the Lady Aggies an advantage for the second tournament game in a row. On the men's side, everything is gearing up for the Sweet 16 that takes place starting on Saturday. Duke freshman Jamin Brakefield plans to transfer from the team. UNC freshman Dayron Sharp has declared for the NBA draft. Florida sophomore Trey Mann has declared for the NBA draft, and Pittsburgh's Justin Champagny will also test the NBA waters. In football, it's time for spring ball. Baylor kicked off its spring drills yesterday as media got its first look at the 4-person quarterback battle. Another open practice will take place today. And Texas has paused its spring football practice due to COVID-19. Oklahoma coach Lincoln Riley is protesting TCU quarterback Chandler Morse's eligibility after he transferred from Oklahoma. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Pickell Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Bird Culchin Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culchin Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culchin Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new, pre-owned Bird Culchin Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culchin Ford.
The holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
No capes. Do you remember Thunderhead? Tall, storm powers. Nice man. Good with kids.
Listen. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Diner guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No capes.
Here's Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Thursday, folks. Happy Thursday, on the cusp with the Sweet 16. Baylor, Villanova squaring off this Saturday. Going to be a big one. Chance to vie for the Elite Eight on the line. And on the show today to help us talk about it, break it down, and break down this Baylor team as a whole, Jason King of SicEm365 joining. Jason, thanks for coming on as always, man.
No problem. Always glad to come on. How's it going?
Oh, it's great. You know, the weather in Waco after being rainy yesterday has really cleared up. Looks good outside today. It's warm. I mean, what more could you want? Both teams in the Sweet 16. It's a beautiful day to be alive.
I know. I'm excited, man. It's nice here in Dallas, too. I'm looking forward to getting up to Indy if they make the Elite Eight, which I think they will. Hope the weather's nice there, too. But I wish I was in Waco right now, man. Just go hang out at George's on a Friday afternoon. Or Thursday afternoon, whatever it is. But, yeah, I miss Waco.
This is the most Friday-esque Thursday I think you could possibly find. And now you have inspired George's, without a doubt. I think I'm going to hit that up tonight now just because of that. But, Jason, I got to know, level of confidence in Baylor. Coming into this game based off of what you've seen, especially, we haven't been able to talk to you since last weekend. How are you feeling right now coming into the Villanova matchup?
Man, I'm feeling so good. It almost scares me. I sometimes when you start to get this confident, it's almost a bad thing. And I hope Baylor's not going to be complacent and look past Villanova. But I just feel like it's kind of a combination of me loving how Baylor played and also just being a little skeptical of Villanova right now, just because they're a little undermanned without Colin Gillespie. I didn't feel like they were challenged too much in either of their first two games, just kind of based on lower level opponents. So I feel like I felt like that Wisconsin game showed me so much about Baylor. I feel like Wisconsin was probably a better opponent than Villanova's going to be. I love the energy that Baylor brought. I love the defense. And I just love, I keep using this word, but I just love the swag, man. And I felt like it was back, that presence that this team has when they're clicking and when they're feeling good about themselves. I thought it was there again against Wisconsin and also against Hartford. And I think, like I said, that little break they had was much needed, and I think they're the old Baylor again.
The old Baylor again. We've heard plenty of people reference that and how this team looks like they're clicking right back to where they were a month ago. I want to know, is it the defensive side of the ball that gives you that confidence that the old Baylor is back?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, the defense and just the energy from start to finish and the confidence. And let's make it clear, even the mediocre Baylor was pretty good. They were still winning games for the most part. But now, I think it's all coming together at just the right time. And that's a scary thing for other opponents. I just feel like Baylor and Gonzaga are at such a different level than everyone else when they're both playing at a high level. Certainly both teams are going to have moments when they look normal, when the shots aren't falling and things of that sort. But as long as Baylor just maintains that defensive energy, I think it's just going to wear teams down, especially teams that might be kind of trying to piece things together like Villanova is without Gillespie. So, I really think this matchup favors them.
With Baylor in the first two rounds, and I kind of got ahead of myself here with what you saw against Hartford, not just Hartford, but Wisconsin, not just the defensive side, the offensive side, everything coming together. Is this team, are they 100%? Are we confident enough to say that yet?
I think physically they are. I still think that there's things that you could nitpick and things that they've got to get better at. I still don't get me wrong. I'm not ripping on Jared Butler because he's doing so many great things. And, what was it, minus just the other day and a bunch of steals, a great all around game. I still feel like offensively, he's just a little off from the high level Jared Butler we know. He's still really good, like I said, even when he's not at the top of his game, but I still feel like he's maybe passing up some outside shots we would normally take. I think sometimes he's trying to do a little too much, get into the lane when he should just pull up and shoot. He's obviously in a bit of a shooting slump. And me, like a lot of times with guys in shooting slumps, I'm like, just quit shooting the ball. Jared Butler, shoot yourself out of it, man. We'll be patient. It's like, I think, I want to see him have one of those games where he hits 6 or 7 threes and really kind of like he did against Kansas. I remember Bill Self, said one guy basically beat us. Jared Butler's capable of doing that, but he's not going to be able to do it unless he, starts playing with that offensive confidence again and taking some of those outside shots. I say all that. I still think he attempted 16 shots the other day, but a lot of them, were in the paint and things of that sort. So he's a guy I think could elevate his game a little bit. And other than that, man, I think everyone's playing pretty. He only had 9 the other night. That's not going to happen often. So I'm telling you the most about this. He's right now the best player on this team. He is. I think more than anyone, he's the one whose stock is rising, who is leaving an impression on viewers that may not know it's about Baylor. If you watch him play and you're only seeing Baylor for the first or second time, if you watch Baylor play in that situation, Davion Mitchell, I think, is a name that you're going to leave remembering the most.
Jason, you mentioned some of those kinks. We've sung Baylor's praises all year long. There's been plenty to sing about, but it's not a team that's indestructible, and I think sometimes that almost helps them. Remember that Kentucky team that was so good and swept through 38-0 before losing in the Final Four? Coach Cal certainly would have taken a regular season loss if it meant winning a national championship. So no team is indestructible. What is it about this Baylor team that A, makes them indestructible, or that B, they need to clean up?
Well, I think the most glaring issue is probably their bench. I mean, when you look at excuse me, let me rephrase that, not their bench. That was a bugaboo there for a week or so, but I think the most glaring issue, just when you look at their makeup, is their size and their lack of it, and then their lack of overall depth and experience in the paint. I mean, I think that Flo is a nice, eighth and ninth man on a team in those circumstances. I think John is going to be a great, potentially maybe a guy that gets a chance to play in the NBA, if he continues to blossom. But at this stage of his career, I think, he's just a little bit behind a lot of the other, veteran forwards he's going against. And then you throw in Vital, who's awesome, but just a little undersized. So I think, any kind of scoring in the paint is just so hard to come by when it comes to those bigs. And there's so many times I know you probably noticed this too. It's like, I feel like one of those guys gets the ball right into the basket and just can't finish. I mean, either they're getting blocked or the rim's stunk, or it's unbelievable how many times you think they're going to have an easy 2 points and it just doesn't work out. So they just don't really have a guy that can score with their back to the basket, right now. And I think, one Big 12 coach even told a friend of mine, another media member, he's like, that's the one thing I don't like about Baylor. They don't have anyone that can score with their back to the basket. And, my response is, well, and yet somehow they managed to be 23 right now. So, but that is something that's noticeable and kind of surprising. Just you would think they would have the roster makeup would have someone like that on there. But I think Tristan Clark was a guy that, they were probably counting on to help them in that area a little bit. And, he had to leave the team for obvious reasons. So that hurt that they found a way to get by it so far, and hopefully they can do it for 4 more games.
Jason, one of the big question marks for me, and I think a lot of fans would agree that it's something that maybe we haven't quite figured out, and I'd love to know if you could verbalize your thoughts on Flo Thamba. I mentioned on Twitter last week, if Flo Thamba scores 10 points in a game, Baylor could beat most NBA teams. I mean, what is Flo Thamba's true role with this team, and have we even been able to figure it out 28 games into the season?
On most teams, a Flo Thamba would be a guy you could bring in for 10 to 12 minutes to give a starter a break, play good defense and just kind of help the team by not hurting it. I think on this team, he's having to play a little bit more. To tell you the truth, man, I think he's played above his head. I think he's doing great. I think he's made as many strides, as anyone on this team. And I really don't think that he's hurting them that bad when he's in there, which is good. He's just not a guy that's going to score a lot of points, but I think defensively he's got a lot better. He's got that big wingspan, and I think he's playing with some aggression and some confidence now. I think he's getting more and more comfortable. Love his energy. Love the fact that he doesn't pout when he has to go in and out, if he has to give up minutes to John. But, I think he's done some nice things. I think he caught a nice lob the other day in the Big 12 tournament. He showed something we hadn't seen all year when he takes out a defender and wins for a really nice dunk. So he's given him something. He's become a decent free throw shooter. So I don't really feel bad when he's in the game. It would just be nice sometimes to have a guy down there that could really get you something defensively. But that's not the game. They're guards or they're scorers, and so that's how it's going.
Jason, I know we've talked a lot individually about this Baylor team and picked a couple of players in and around where they're good and maybe where they struggle, but I want to stick there a bit with the way this team has played in their first couple of games above the rim. We've seen J.J. Watt tweeted it, is Baylor the new Lob City? And there have been flashes of that at times over the course of the year, but it seems like they're really leaning into that with the lack of a large presence to score down low. What do you make of Baylor's use of the lob and throwing it down?
Well, I think, one reason you may be seeing it a little bit more is, these are teams that they haven't played against. I think a lot of teams in the Big 12 are starting to look for it and anticipate it a little bit because Baylor was doing it a lot early in the season. But, we mentioned John earlier and his athleticism. There's not many guys that big in college basketball that can leap that high. And, I did a little Twitter poll the other day after the first half of that Wisconsin game. There were so many, crazy, awesome highlight reel plays, whether it was Butler's little head fake when he went for a dunk, whether it was Vital's lob from Teague, whether it was Flagler's shot, three-pointer at the buzzer. But I thought the best play, and it didn't win in my Twitter poll, but I thought the best play was the lob to John. I think he got up on that. I didn't think it was particularly one of the better passes Mitchell had thrown him, but he went up there and adjusted and threw it down. And so that's a definite weapon, and that is a way that those bigs can help offensively, and that's something that a lot of other teams don't have.
With with the way this team has played, going into the Nova game and the outlook of possibly playing either Arkansas or Oral Roberts, we talked about your confidence in Baylor against Villanova. What is your confidence this team ends up going to the Final Four?
It's really, really high. I don't think the teams. We got to remember, like these teams that they were playing in the Big 12. I mean, they eventually. I don't want to say they got used to Baylor's defense, but I mean, because it gave everyone trouble. But I mean, eventually teams kind of came to expect it. I think teams like, Arkansas, when Baylor comes out there with guys like Mitchell and Vital defending them, they're not going to know what hit them. I mean, I don't think they've seen intensity for 40 minutes like that from players that are on that level in terms of defense. And I don't think that Arkansas can, because of that, can win a scoring battle with Baylor. I just think Baylor is becoming elite on both ends of the court, whether it's scoring or defending. So I like their chances in both of those games. I'd love for it to be Oral Roberts. It wouldn't shock me at all if Oral Roberts beat Arkansas. I really would. I told everyone the other day they were going to beat Florida. After I watched them play Ohio State, I was like, my gosh, this team's going to beat Florida. They've got two high-level players. Now, they certainly, I don't think, will be able to beat Baylor, but that's a good team. So either way, I'm feeling really good about their chances at this point to get there. I do think in the Final Four, if they were to go up against Syracuse, which is very unorthodox, or Houston, which is a really well-coached team that can kind of force you into playing their style of game, I think those would be really challenging games. But as far as the rest of the South region bracket, I like the way it's looking for Baylor right now.
Yeah, Jason, and looking forward, even I know we get way ahead of ourselves when we talk about it, but the confidence in this Baylor team is there, more so than most teams in the country, that this team could go to the national championship game. And I don't want to know maybe your confidence level, but just when you look at the field, does it seem like Baylor has a manageable or even very manageable path to the national championship game?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, at this point, I think it would be a bit of an upset if they weren't there. I do. Just when you look at how the brackets unfolded, when you look at how things are shaking out, I think it would be an upset if they weren't there, especially if they went to the Final Four. But I just hope that if they get to the Final Four, no matter what happens from that point, people are going to remember this season as a huge success and something to embrace and remember forever. And if they were to get upset by a Syracuse or a Houston in the Final Four, that would stink. But hey, still a great season. But obviously, my sights are set higher, and I do think a championship game appearance is something I'm almost expecting at this point.
And looking forward to the championship game, what you've seen in this postseason, Jason, I've gotten to watch Gonzaga more in the last couple of games than I had most of this season because, those WCC games aren't typically televised. When you look at how Baylor's playing compared to how Gonzaga is playing and the prospect of that matchup, do you feel like that's where the buck stops for Baylor, that this Gonzaga team is just too good with too many superstars?
I don't feel like that necessarily. To me, if I were making the line on that game, I'd make it Gonzaga -1 or -2. I think that, Gonzaga deserves all the hype it's getting, without question. I'm not going to hate on them at all. I think Mark Q is phenomenal. But look, every team's capable of having a bad night and looking normal. I thought, Oklahoma was the 7th best team in the Big 12, and they played with Gonzaga but I felt like for 25 or 30 minutes of that game the other day, and we're right in it, and I don't think Oklahoma's very good, and they certainly don't have the defense that Baylor has. Gonzaga has a great backcourt, but I'm telling you, they don't play defense in the WCC like they're going to see against Baylor. They've seen good defense. They played, West Virginia and some teams this year. They did their best to play a good schedule. They had some games canceled too. They played Kansas, and gave up 90 points to them. But they played them. So they've seen some good defenses. So, but they haven't in a while. And I think that's where Baylor could really go in. And if they bring that intensity, they could rattle them. And I think Gonzaga could probably score on Baylor in the paint and have its way with them a little bit down there. But it would be a nice matchup. And I don't think Gonzaga should be heavily favored in that one at all. I think Baylor would have a great chance to win that game.
Well, we're all looking forward to the prospect of that going down, or hopefully it does. I don't know if in college basketball, I know that the AP poll would show that two teams have not been 1 and 2 as long as Baylor and Gonzaga were in history. Yeah. So having that highly touted matchup squaring down at the very end of the year is what everybody expects, and anything less would almost be disappointing.
Yeah, it's what everyone expects. It's what everyone wants. It would be a nice end to just a tough season, a tough year. It's great that the season happened and everything, but it sure would be a really positive way to end a really unorthodox, sometimes frustrating season. And I think hopefully it would get a lot of viewers and be a real good representation of the sport. Because it's really rare. It's really rare that the best two teams end up playing at the end of the year. You know what I mean? It's always like maybe one team's the best and the other team's the team that got hot because the second best team got upset, because they had one bad night. So rarely do we really see, even in the Final Four. I mean, I think one time in history have all four number one seeds made the Final Four. That was in 2008 with Kansas, North Carolina, and UCLA and Memphis. I don't think that's ever happened. So how nice would it be, like you said, to actually have the best two teams in the regular season meet in the final? So that'd be great. I hope it happens.
Jason, Bear Games question of the day today as we round things out. Basketball movie. What is your favorite basketball movie of all time?
It's easily Hoosiers, but what else is in the mix? I mean, you're talking about
Glory Road, Blue Chips, Glory Road. Oh, yeah. What's the Coach Carter? Coach Carter's good.
Yeah, Coach Carter's a good one. But man, it's Hoosiers, and there's a handful of movies, and I don't know if you guys feel the same. Like no matter how many times you've seen them, if you're flipping around on the channels and you stumble upon that movie, you stop and watch it. For me, it's like Vacation. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, several more. Hoosiers is by far my favorite all-time basketball movie, and I'm about to have my learning the value work and things like that. I love it.
Jason, last one here for you. The men's and women's basketball teams this year, which do you have more confidence in winning a national championship based on the way both of their brackets shake out the rest of the way?
Definitely the men. And that's just more of a reflection on how good I think this group is. Like I said, I think they're one of the top two teams in the country. Combine that with the fact that it's going well for them and everything's gelling right now, I have more confidence in them than anyone.
I love it. Hey, Jason King, thanks so much for joining the show today and breaking things down for us across these brackets. It's an exciting time of year to have you on to break things down is always great.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Again, that was Jason King of SicEm365 talking all things college basketball. It is March Madness, Sweet 16 this weekend, Baylor and Villanova, tipping off at 4:15 on Saturday. The winner of that will take on the winner of Arkansas and Oral Roberts on Monday. We could do a show on Monday, the day of the Elite Eight. The day of the Elite Eight. How about this? When we come back, I'm excited for this one too. The voice of Oral Roberts, Adam Hildebrandt, joins the show to talk about this ORU team. Baylor has a prospect of playing them. We'll talk to an Arkansas source tomorrow. What we want to know, what would it look like if Baylor and ORU were to square off in the Elite Eight? I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims, Jack McKenzie. This is Up Tempo.
It was a busy day in women's basketball yesterday as the round of 32 concluded. 8 more teams punched tickets to the Sweet 16. Starting with upsets, 6-seed Oregon toppled 3-seed Georgia 57-50, and 6-seed Texas advanced past 3-seed UCLA 71-62. Elsewhere, 2-seed Texas A&M snuck by 7-seed Iowa State 84-82 on a buzzer beater in overtime. Questionable calls down the stretch gave the Lady Aggies an advantage for the second tournament game in a row. On the men's side, everything is gearing up for the Sweet 16 that takes place starting on Saturday. Duke freshman Jamin Brakefield plans to transfer from the team. UNC freshman Dayron Sharp has declared for the NBA draft. Florida sophomore Trey Mann has declared for the NBA draft, and Pittsburgh's Justin Champagny will also test the NBA waters. In football, it's time for spring ball. Baylor kicked off its spring drills yesterday as media got its first look at the 4-person quarterback battle. Another open practice will take place today, and Texas has paused its spring football practice due to COVID-19. Oklahoma coach Lincoln Riley is protesting TCU quarterback Chandler Morse's eligibility after he transferred from Oklahoma. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could.
During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84, no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Alan Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans and all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or wacocustommarketplace.com.
I got breaking news here. We got Western Athletic Conference just announced they're adding several schools.
The WAC.
The WAC.
Okay. Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
I think Coach Gundy would be like my guy that I would just like just a hair. Yeah. I just want to be able to see it flow when I kind of slam his arm down.
Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back to the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. How about it? It is Jersey Day, folks. Coming up on the Sweet 16 this weekend, Baylor and Villanova squaring off, and the winner of that game for all the marbles to head to the Elite Eight, either Oral Roberts or the University of Arkansas. Now, Arkansas has been there before. They went to the national championship game in 1995. They haven't been there since, but the program's been there before, and I'll tell you who hasn't, though. That's Oral Roberts. And to help us break down what makes this ORU team click, Adam Hildebrand joins the show, the voice of ORU basketball and baseball. Adam, first and foremost, I'd like to apologize on behalf of Oral Roberts basketball for keeping you from announcing any baseball games so far this year because they've gone so far.
Yeah, I'm used to being dedicated to baseball a little bit earlier. I've got to do a few. The schedule worked out in the in between since the Golden Eagles conference tournament for basketball came so early. But I'm enjoying the extra time with basketball. It's been nice.
Adam, for you, being someone that is, not just affiliated with the program, but directly connected and calling games, this Oral Roberts team, when did you know, hey, this squad's got something special?
Well, when did I know? Boy, that's a tough one to put a finger on. I think probably around it was about the third to last week of the season. ORU was hosting South Dakota State, and for those who aren't familiar with the Summit League, South Dakota State and North Dakota State had shared the Summit League tournament title for 9 consecutive years. One of those two schools had lifted the trophy. And so we had this stretch of 3 weeks where we played 2 at North Dakota State, 2 at home against South Dakota State, and then 2, it was supposed to be 2, ended up being 1 in South Dakota. And went to Fargo and split with the Bison on the road, and then came home and beat South Dakota State in game 1 of that 2-game weekend series. Is kind of how it played out with the Summit League schedule this year. And so at that point, I think it was like, okay, this team is as good as we thought they were. They are ready to compete for a Summit League title. And it didn't work out that they won in the regular season. Those 4 teams were all really bunched up at the top of the league, ended up 4th in the seeding for the conference tournament. But those few weeks proved to, I think, everyone that ORU was capable of going and winning a Summit League tournament championship. And this was a team that kind of just got better and better over the course of the season. And then even after a starter, R.J. Glasper, went down with a knee injury in Fargo, they continued to step up into bigger roles and continue to get better as a team. Sorry, you can probably hear my kids in the background. We're on our way to Indianapolis.
No,
so I think that was the kind of the point where we all realized, like, okay, this is a team that's as good as we thought they were and very capable of going and getting it done and making the NCAA tournament.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you that it's a great ambiance, and I'm glad you guys are getting to go up there. You know, you talked about Oral Roberts being 4th in the Summit League, knocking off South Dakota State and North Dakota State in the Summit League tournament. For you, as someone that was right there along that ride with the team, I mean, what was that like to see this not just Cinderella story in the NCAA tournament, but almost sort of a Cinderella story in the Summit League tournament to win that championship?
Yeah, it's, as someone who has gotten to be around the team now for 4 years, 5 years for me and 4 years with the current coaching staff, you get to know some of those people and some of those guys, players, GAs, the coaching staff. I go to church with somebody on the coaching staff. So you get to where you have a vested interest, which is hard at times because you want to take that out as much as possible. I had the opportunity to talk that piece.
I think we, let's see, did we drop totally or just lose some connection right there? Let's see. Adam, if you can hear me, let me know.
Yep, I got you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You were talking about the coaching staff, your vested interest in the coaching staff. I got you now.
Yeah, so, you get to know those people as people and not just basketball coaches and basketball players. And so you want them to have that success. And it has been really enjoyable to watch a group of people who's worked so hard for the last few years, step up into that spotlight and have that opportunity to shine and get it done.
Adam, Paul Mills is a familiar name in Baylor Nation. You know, he was on the sideline for 14 years here in Waco. Obviously, him and Scott Drew very close still to this day. And from coming to the program in 2017 to the progression now to the Sweet 16, what does that say about him?
Well, he's had a consistent message ever since he got here, which was we're going to do this the right way. We're going to use our God-given abilities for God-given reasons, and we're just going to work really hard to get this to where we want it to be. And I don't think the expectations have really changed ever since he got here. I think he showed up expecting to win and put a winning product on the floor and expected, to get the most out of his players. And, the improvements needed to be made for that to consistently happen. But I think that's the point we've gotten to. And so because he set those expectations early on, we will be a team that competes. We will be a team that wins basketball games. I don't think it's kind of a surprise now at this point for anybody within the program that they've gotten here. I think this was always expected at some point. It was just a matter of when it was going to show up. And so, it may seem a little surprising that on the timeline that it came as quickly as it did, but I don't think it was ever really a question in anyone's mind within the program that they were eventually going to get here. So to see that hard work pay off has been really cool. And Paul has been just an absolute class act to work with. He is a grinder. He's a guy who wants to focus and get it done because he wants to put his kids in the best possible position to succeed. And I think you see that in his work even between games, the two shortened games in game 1 and 2 of the NCAA tournament. There wasn't a whole lot of celebrating. It was like, no, I got to get back into the film room and watch film on Florida and see how I can give these kids the best opportunity to have success. So he's been awesome to be around. He's a phenomenal leader of men, both on the floor and then off it, with their faith base and how he talks about getting his theological degree so that he can answer tough questions that his players have that aren't necessarily basketball related. It's really cool to see how he pours into the guys around him. He said this the other day in a post-game press conference. It's not his job necessarily to fill up the cups of the people around him. It's his job to empty his, to give them the opportunity to fill theirs. And I think he does that on a daily basis.
Wow. Like you said, class act without a doubt. We're all very familiar with him and his work and just proud of what he's done at that program. And 7 straight wins now. Going into this matchup against Arkansas, I want to know, before we even preview the Arkansas matchup and the possibility of a Baylor-Oral Roberts matchup, for you, walking into Indianapolis, being there at the NCAA tournament in March Madness, did it almost feel like a Hoosiers-esque experience for this program coming into the big lights?
In some ways it did, and in some ways it didn't. When I got there for the first game at Mackey Arena, from my perspective at least, it was really cool to see the March Madness logo on the floor and the floor design that you're kind of used to seeing on television. And so that kind of hit me when I walked in. But for the team as a whole, I think because of those expectations that Paul Mills set, I think they absolutely expected to go in there and, if not win a ball game, certainly give themselves a chance to win ball games. And so I think the expectations were there all year, and part of that has to do with the non-conference schedule of the 5 Division I teams that ORU played before conference play. They all made the NCAA tournament.
Wow! So
ORU was comfortable playing that level of competition because they had played them early on in the year. Even though they didn't get over the hump in any of those games, they were very close in several of them. And so I think that this team walked in there with the expectation we're not outmatched, we're not outmanned. We're not going to let anybody, as Paul says, put a number in front of our name and expect, and play different because of it. So I think they did absolutely expect to go in there and compete and try to win ball games. And now all of a sudden here we are in the Sweet 16.
Wow. Adam, looking at the matchup against Arkansas, Oral Roberts, you guys have seen them already once before in Bud Walton, which is one of the nicest, best arenas that college basketball has to offer. And under the bright lights, Arkansas found a way in a tight, gritty game to get it done. But now Oral Roberts, you guys get them again. What is the aura around this team going into a matchup against a familiar foe?
I think that's kind of an exciting place to be, frankly. You didn't get it done last time, but now you had the chance to go and right the wrong, so to speak, and see if you can get them the second time around, now with the stakes even higher. There were, frankly, some correctable mistakes in that game that the Golden Eagles made. They turned the ball over more than they generally do, and they frankly got kind of whooped on the offensive glass. Arkansas dominated the offensive glass in that game. And ORU is not a team that's going to win a ton of rebounding battles, but they've figured out the formula. If they can, win the turnover battle and at least compete on the boards, then they'll give themselves a chance to win games, especially with how many three-pointers they make. So the blueprint, I think, is there. And both of these teams are a little bit different than they were in December, but I think this group is really looking forward to the opportunity to get some revenge here and knock the Hogs off on a much bigger stage than the first time around when they played.
When you talk about a guy, Max is one of the best guards that I'm sure you can find not just in the Summit League, but at 24.5 points per game that you can find out there in the country statistically. What does it take? Is it going to take a 25, 30-point performance from him to step up and win this game?
It would not surprise me to see him put one of those up, but I don't think that's the biggest key necessarily. I think with the way Arkansas defends, they're long. They put Jalen Tate on him last time, which gave him some problems. And don't get me wrong, Max is actually better between 25 and 30 feet than he is from 22 to 25 feet metrically. He shoots a higher percentage from that distance. However, I think the much bigger key is that the guys around him are going to have to make shots, because Arkansas is going to do what they can to get the ball out of his hands and make it really tough for him to score, certainly on the perimeter. We've seen instances. Denver did a really nice job doing that when we played at their place earlier this year. To a certain extent in the Summit League tournament. I think he was 1 for 6 in the semifinals of the Summit League tournament from 3-point range, but he had a career high 10 assists. So he is capable of making the plays and distributing the basketball, but the guys around him have to make shots. And to be honest, the 3-point shooting from the supporting cast has not been in the first 2 games of the NCAA tournament what it has been over the course of the year. So if they can reclaim some of that consistency and other guys hit big shots, they've hit big shots in big moments, but it hasn't been consistent through these games yet. So if those other guys can step up to the plate and shoot it even just 35% combined as everyone not named O'Banner and Asmus, then they'll give themselves a really good chance to win the game.
I'm bouncing around here just a bit, Adam, but I got to know with this team, you said coming in, really their mantra was let's go in here and not just win one, but let's go win a couple. Let's make a splash in the NCAA tournament. And even if we don't win, we're going to make it close, prove we deserve to be there. Now 2 wins in. Does it feel like this program has gotten its fill, that they're ready to, that you lose today and it was all still well worth it? Or is this team ready to go win 1, 2, 3, and even more?
Yeah, they have absolutely not had their fill. It was literally in a video that I saw in the post-game locker room. Everybody gets in there and exciting, everybody dances and celebrates and stuff. And before Coach was finished with his little post-game speech, he said, "Hey, if you think this is fun, the Final Four is even better. Only Coach Freeman on the staff has experienced that." And so they have a chance in front of them to do something that, as a collective group, they haven't done and take them further than even Coach Mills experienced at Baylor. So there's still a lot that this team wants to play for and is in front of them. The shots may fall, the shots may not. You can't control everything, but this team is absolutely not ready to be done. I can guarantee you that.
So coming into this Sweet 16 matchup, the prospect of going to the Elite Eight, I want to know what is different about this Oral Roberts team since the last time they played that Power 5 non-conference slate in which they weren't able to prevail. Now 2-0 in the tournament. What has changed?
They're defending a lot better. It's not great. It's not like they've become one of the top defensive teams in the country or anything like that, but they are defending a lot better than they were at that point in the year. A lot of that has to do with Carlos Jurgens. He's been really good on the ball. He's kind of lengthy, and he's getting some steals to begin with. He's gotten several blocks on the year as well, but what he's really doing and what ORU seems to be doing better as a whole is pressuring the basketball without giving up driving angles. Early on in the year, if they tried to pressure the ball at all to try to keep teams from feeding the post or just moving it freely, that would give up driving angles and they'd get beat at the rim consistently. Or they would give up the drive and there'd be a kick out an easy 3-point bucket. That has been much, much improved. There was right in the middle of the conference season, ORU had its bye week in conference play. So they had 2 weeks before we went to Fargo to work on that. And it was something that the coaches dedicated a lot of time to in that 2-week frame. And it clearly had an effect. The Golden Eagles have been a lot better defending the basketball over the course of the last 6 to 8 weeks here. And without that, they would not be here. ORU has been outshot from the field in both games that they played in the NCAA tournament. But the defense and forcing turnovers and getting extra possessions has allowed them to overcome that. And they need to continue doing that on Saturday against Arkansas.
Well, Adam, the main goal was to familiarize ourselves a bit more, even further. Coach Mills has come on the afternoon show here a couple times now since the tournament started, but we wanted to be introduced even further to this team and this program. So when you look at the possibility of a Baylor and Oral Roberts matchup, what do you think? What's the first thing that goes through your mind?
Just storylines everywhere. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos that Jeff Goodman has tweeted with Paul and Scott Drew and Tang and Coach Coach Driscoll, whose son was actually a GA for ORU a couple years ago. That kind of stuff has just absolutely cracked me up. So imagine the chess match in the mind of Coach Drew and Coach Mills over the course of that game, because there are not 2 coaching staffs, I don't think, that know each other better, that have the chance to potentially match up still in this tournament.
Yeah.
Like, that would be phenomenal to know those 2 guys know each other so well and try to play off of what they think the other one's going to do. That would be it would be a coaching clinic. And so that would be a ton of fun to watch. I have let my mind wander to that a couple of times, and the possibility of that. I know the coaches won't get that far ahead of themselves. But the idea that is a possibility that's still out there would just be an absolute blast. That would be incredible.
Well, the storylines. You mentioned the storylines would be unbelievable. The matchups would be great. And I can tell you, Coach Scott Drew and Paul Mills both would have smiles on their face the entire time, I'm sure.
I don't know. I don't know. It seems like they might be aggressive enough and competitive enough. I don't know that there'd be a whole lot. There might be a cordial smile and a grin at the beginning of the game, but I think at that point it's all bets are off. I think the friendliness probably gets put aside for a couple hours there. Maybe
a couple hours. It'd be a blast for the rest of us, though. I'll tell you what. I tell you, Adam. Before we let you get out of here, I got one last question for you, and then we'll play our Bear games we play every day on this show. We take a break away from the sports normalcy and ask a couple of quirky things. But before that, I want to know, for you now, you said 5 years in this program, following this ORU team, and now making it to the Sweet 16 in a dream run. What does this program, this team, mean to you?
Oh man, this was really special for me when I got this opportunity. I'm from the Tulsa area. I'm from a suburb. Basically grew up here, and to have a chance, just from a professional perspective, to come back and call games, Division I games in my hometown, was an incredible opportunity. But to get to know, I'm a big people person, so to get to know people like Russell Springman, Paul Mills, Stan Patterson. Has been incredible. Ian Lehman is our video coordinator who I've become friends with. Some of the players that I've gotten to be around, the reason I wanted to be involved in college athletics in particular as a broadcaster as opposed to doing something with a professional sports team is I enjoy being around this age group and hopefully, I'm certainly not around those guys as much as the coaches, but hopefully have some sort of positive impact on the lives of these guys. And so to have that opportunity and to get to know these guys has just been absolutely incredible. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And now to get to be the voice and try to in some way do justice to the story of what is happening and what these guys are putting together, it's a massive honor. And I've thanked them several times. If I said, all of the best words in the English dictionary, that doesn't matter if they don't put in the work for years now to get to this point and be able to go on this run. It doesn't matter what I say without the work that they put in. So I'm just very thankful for this group. I'm very thankful for the friends that we have made and the people we've gotten to know. And I hope it keeps running as long as it can.
I would not be upset whatsoever if Baylor matched up with Oral Roberts in the Elite Eight. Myself being an Arkansas native, I look, a home divided, I cannot stand. So I'm gonna need you guys to win for that reason alone, and just the storylines too would be unbelievable. And our Bear Games questions of the day here for you, Adam. How about this? Favorite basketball sports movie of all time?
Favorite basketball sports movie? Coach Carter. We actually had the opportunity to meet Coach Carter a couple years ago when ORU was playing. I guess I don't remember if it wasn't at Baylor specifically. I don't remember if we practiced down there or what, but we actually got to meet him. And it's a movie that my younger sister is a basketball coach at LD Bell in the Dallas area. So we grew up watching that movie some. So I think I'd have to go with Coach Carter.
Coach Carter, lock it in. How about these? We're doing our Disney movie madness right now. I hear the kids in the back, so maybe you're familiar with these. We got two matchups today. Tarzan or The Little Mermaid?
Tarzan, the music. It's got to be Tarzan.
You'll be in my heart. All the way. Phil Collins. Just an immaculate, if you will, set album there from that movie. Then Moana or Tangled?
Moana, again for the music. You got Lin-Manuel Miranda on that one, so that's pretty tough.
He's got a great point. Man, Adam, a man of taste. Thank you so much for bringing your Disney movie takes on the show and a little bit of basketball analysis with it.
You bet. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Again, that Adam Hildebrand joining the show, the voice of the ORU Golden Eagles. The prospect of Baylor and Oral Roberts squaring off, the storyline, what could come from that is just something that is that people are going to be talking about, and they have been talking about all around Waco in the last week or so. Just Baylor, Scott Drew, Paul Mills meeting up. Now, here's the deal. if I had to put my whole mortgage, everything goes down in this game, Arkansas's got a legitimate shot. I think Arkansas, not just a legitimate shot, I think Arkansas, them being the favorite, they're going to end up winning this game against Oral Roberts. At some point, the magic runs out. But, man, just think about Oral Roberts taking another one in the Sweet 16 and being able to play Baylor. Baylor beats Villanova. Armstrong, I got a video that's in the group chat there on Twitter, and it's the last one with Hog. It references Hog fans and Eric Musselman. We're going to break that down here in 30 seconds or so, a minute or so. But that Oral Roberts game against University of Arkansas squares off at 6:25 p.m. on Saturday on TBS. Arkansas with a 4% chance to win it. Oral Roberts just 7.6. But I tell you what, this ORU team averages 82 points per game. So does Arkansas. And Oral Roberts, while they allow 75, Arkansas only allows 67. Their defense, like Adam said, has gotten better. They've won 7 straight. What are the odds? If they can knock off Ohio State, if they can knock off Florida, Oral Roberts can certainly knock off Arkansas. Maybe, just maybe it'll happen. Check this out, though. I'll tell you, I want to preface this a little bit. This video surfaces before the Arkansas-Texas Tech game where analyst Todd Furman has some choice words about Eric Musselman and his ability to coach. This following the storyline of the Oral Roberts and Arkansas matchup. Check it out.
I'm going to make a case for Texas Tech here. When I look at the head coaches in this game, I think it's one of the biggest mismatches we're going to see in the round of 32. We talked going into the game against Utah State, what Chris Beard's record looked like during the NCAA tournament. Well, he has to be licking his chops knowing that Eric Musselman will be on the other side.
I was alerted before the game about somebody on CBS who said something about the coaching matchup. So I was a little shocked that we could actually win a close game. Based on his comments, whoever that guy is, I've never heard of him in my entire life, so his credibility is absolutely zero. Yeah, I take it personal. I mean, who is this guy? He's never called a timeout. He doesn't know. I mean, who is the guy? I don't know who he is. Yeah, I took it personal. My son brought it to me, when we were eating, whenever the thing went out, I knew right away. So, yeah, I take it personal when somebody says something like that.
All right, perfect time to welcome back our Vegas insider, Todd Furman. I mean, Todd, apparently you picked the wrong coach to mess with. He was pretty serious about that. What do you think about Musselman's response to you?
I had no idea, Jenny, that I was going to create such a chip on his shoulder going into that basketball game. You look at the way Arkansas performed, and to their credit, they were able to build a double-digit lead midway through that second half. But I wonder if the song and dance is a little bit different if Texas Tech makes the front end of a 1-and-1 with an 80% free throw shooter, Mac McClung, or they're able to get to the foul line with 2 empty possessions to close that game out. But to Arkansas's credit, they survive and advance, and they have a fortuitous matchup against Oral Roberts. But if that's what Coach Muss and this fan base needs to try and get to the Elite Eight, hey, I'm more than happy to provide the inspiration for them.
Wow. What do you think about that? I'm very... Todd Furman goes on this rant about how, okay, I'm confident that Texas Tech wins because Chris Beard's a far better coach than Eric Musselman. That's going to be the difference is Eric Musselman can't coach like Chris Beard. Well, how about then Eric Musselman goes out and wins and said, I don't know if it's tacky. I think it's very interesting. The coach is like, yeah, I took it personal. Who's this guy? He's never dribbled a basketball. Come on. I mean, granted, I've never hit a home run at an NCAA ballpark, right? But we in sports media, the media is paid to talk about sports. Eric Musselman, I'm sure he's got an opinion. I'm sure he voted on somebody to be president. Well, he's never been in politics. Great, that's fine. Just because you haven't been there or done that thing doesn't mean you can't do enough research, know enough about it, be around it enough to understand what goes on. Hey, I can tell you right now, LSU, Les Miles, dumpster fire, didn't work out. Larry Fedora is the offensive coordinator at Baylor, didn't work out. There was not a happy marriage there. I've never coached on the sidelines of a college football game. That's fine. I can still tell you what happens. I can still analyze, hey, this coach is better than that coach. I will tell you right now, Coach K, span of his career, what Coach K has done. Coach K is far better than, say, Buzz Williams, right? Buzz is a good coach. I like Buzz. Mike White at Florida. Those guys aren't as good as Coach K. I don't have to shoot a three-pointer in a college basketball game to know that's the way things go. So maybe I don't agree with Todd Furman, but also I don't agree with Eric Musselman's response of you've never shot a three-pointer or dribbled a basketball. I think that's a moot point. I do think, though, Todd Furman, fault on both sides, because Musselman's a great coach, NBA caliber coach. He's been in the NBA with the Warriors. You were wrong. All right? You're an analyst and you say something wrong. I've been wrong. Look at my bracket. I got like 3 teams in the Sweet 16. People are wrong sometimes. And his response is like, yeah, well, okay, well, I gave him a chip on his shoulder by saying what I said, so you're welcome, Eric Musselman, for making you win the basketball game, for giving you a chip on your shoulder. I'll do it again, too, if it means you're going to win. No. Take your lumps. Be like, hey, I was wrong. Eric Musselman's a good coach. I was proved wrong. Is what it is. Now, if you're Eric Musselman on that side of things, here's what I think there's wrong there. Why is your response to like, I don't know this guy. He has no credibility. I don't know who he is. So I don't even care. I don't even know who he is. So he must not be cool. What? No. Look, people just aren't going to like you. People are going to critique who you are as a coach. Analysts, they get paid to critique coaches. They get paid to build brackets. They get paid to put rankings out there. End of the day, he may not be your biggest fan. It doesn't mean he's an awful analyst necessarily. He was simply wrong. And if that's the fuel to your fire, if you're listening to that enough, or that's what I took it personally. I went out there and I was going to prove this guy wrong. Why? You know? What is the thing about like kings don't trip over the feet of pawns? I don't think that's a real saying. But you can see kind of where I'm going with that. I just don't think on both sides that Todd Furman, you're wrong, okay? You're wrong. You were wrong. And then your excuse is like, oh, well, Mac McClung missed some free throws. Otherwise, Arkansas would have lost. Granted, yes. But also, Eric Musselman can coach. And his resume shows that, too. He's taken Nevada to the Elite Eight. Eric Musselman's now got Arkansas to the Sweet 16. Okay, take your lumps. I was wrong. Sorry, Coach Musselman. Not I did that. I take credit for getting you to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. No, stop that. And Eric Musselman, don't listen. Don't like, I took it personally. Oh, that drove me. That's fuel to my fire. What the crap, man? Like, who gives a flying crap? If somebody tweets at me today and is like, you're a terrible, awful radio host. Oh, I took that personally. I changed the entire way I did radio. I wanted to go out and prove that I'm a good radio host. No. Okay? I think there's fault on both sides right there. That was a storyline from earlier this week. Now Eric Musselman goes into a game against Paul Mills. Arkansas and Oral Roberts squaring off. And here's the deal, Todd Furman. If Arkansas loses to Oral Roberts, it doesn't mean that Eric Musselman's a bad coach. I don't think Mike White's a terrible coach at Florida. He lost to Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts is just hot right now. It's how March goes. So on both sides, Eric, he's an analyst. He's supposed to do that. It's his job, whether he's dribbled a basketball or not. And then flipping Todd, take your lumps, man. Apologize. Say sorry. You were wrong. Both you guys. Let's grow up. Sports. Arkansas and Oral Roberts this Saturday, 6:25 p.m. That is going to be on TBS. You can watch that game. The winner of that one plays the winner of Baylor and Villanova in the Elite Eight. Man, I'd hate to see it, but it looks like Arkansas and Baylor might just be squaring off. But wouldn't you love to see the Scott Drew coaching tree, Paul Mills, Scott Drew in the Elite Eight? Boy, we got a big one this weekend coming up. When we come back, though, Doug, baby. Doug Feinberg joins the show. One of my favorite analysts out there, one of my favorite people to have on this show, talking women's basketball. As we've now wrapped up the round of 32, the Sweet 16 is set. Doug Feinberg joins the show to tell us why he's confident in the Baylor Lady Bears, who were just announced to be the #1 best team in the country per ESPN's BPI when it comes to chance to winning the title. Baylor at 21% compared to UConn's 20%. This Baylor team now a favorite to win the title. Doug Feinberg joins the show. Coming up after this to talk all about it, this is Up Tempo.
It was a busy day in women's basketball yesterday as the round of 32 concluded. 8 more teams punched tickets to the Sweet 16. Starting with upsets, 6 seed Oregon toppled 3 seed Georgia 57-50, and 6 seed Texas advanced past 3 seed UCLA 71-62. Elsewhere, 2 seed Texas A&M snuck by 7 seed Iowa State 84-82 on a buzzer beater in overtime. Questionable calls down the stretch gave the Lady Aggies an advantage for the second tournament game in a row. On the men's side, everything is gearing up for the Sweet 16 that takes place starting on Saturday. Duke freshman Jamin Brakefield plans to transfer from the team. UNC freshman Dayron Sharp has declared for the NBA draft. Florida sophomore Trey Mann has declared for the NBA draft, and Pittsburgh's Justin Champagny will also test the NBA waters. In football, it's time for spring ball. Baylor kicked off its spring drills yesterday as media got its first look at the 4-person quarterback battle. Another open practice will take place today. And Texas has paused its spring football practice due to COVID-19. Oklahoma coach Lincoln Riley is protesting TCU quarterback Chandler Morse's eligibility after he transferred from Oklahoma. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Uptempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Bird Culchin Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culchin Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culchin Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new, pre-owned Bird Culchin Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culchin Ford.
The holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Uptempo on SicEm365 Radio.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. This is Uptempo on SicEm365 Radio today, rounding out your Thursday, the 1 o'clock hour. And to start things off and help us break down all things women's college basketball, Doug Feinberg joins the show. Doug, man, you've been in there in San Antonio now for over, I guess, getting close to a week, if not over a week. I mean, what's it like down there?
You know, it's been stellar, right? I mean, to basketball, what more could you ask for? It's listen, for all the outside stuff that's been going on here with the comparing the men and the women inequities, we played basketball the last 4 days. And I'm not trying to belittle anything that's going on off the court, because those are very important issues to discuss. But it was nice to actually have basketball games and see the best teams play and have some excitement and some great games. That to me, I mean, it's good to have that as well as the other stuff going on.
And Doug, we've seen some unbelievable competition. I want to know, we asked you last week, before we even talk about the games on the floor, we asked you what the feel of San Antonio was, and it was tough to get a good gauge of that when you had first gotten there. Now a weekend, how do you assess the aura of San Antonio?
It's weird. There isn't much signage that there's a tournament going on right now. So that to me is strange, because you'd think that, you see on the men's side, there's the giant bracket on the JW Marriott up in Indianapolis, and I'm sure there's big signage and there's probably just a tournament feel. Whereas here, I haven't noticed that. I walked the Riverwalk this morning, a couple other days to get some exercise in, and you wouldn't know there's anything going on that's basketball related, because it just isn't that vibe. But once you get in the building, there's basketball. You hear the balls bounce. You hear the coaches talk. There's some fans there, the family and friends. So it does feel, like a tournament.
How about, the San Antonio atmosphere too, not just away from basketball, but with these teams and being around the teams and the coaching staffs, for them, in what you've talked to them, does it feel different for those folks, the aura?
So they're sort of locked down. They're actually, as they're changing hotels to sort of condense things a little bit, because the NCAA had rented out 7 hotels for everybody and no one else could stay there but the teams. And that's a pretty dollar, so to speak. Yeah. Consolidating to make less hotel space. I think they're all going to one hotel now, or maybe 2. So that may actually help break it up for them. If you're staring at the same hotel wall for 3 straight weeks, I'd be going nuts. I'm in a hotel till April 5th, and I'm not in the quarantine zone, so to speak, so I can go out and walk and experience San Antonio. But I look at the same wall every night. That could get a little bit tedious and such. So I think that breaks it up. They're actually letting them do some activities now. I think they can rent out a movie theater to go watch a movie during the day. They also can take the river boat on the river walk. There's a boating experience they can do. So they're giving them a chance to do something out there, so they're not basically locked in an ivory tower for 3 straight weeks if they make it that far.
How about it, with you, working for the AP, writing for the AP, being in and around these press conferences, players and coaches, and putting out content. I want to know, too, what are some of the big things you're working on right now?
So it's weird. I feel I have a better grasp of the tournament when I'm not at the first 2 rounds, because I can sit there like you probably and watch every game this year. Every game's on TV, so you could watch every game you wanted to in the first 2 rounds. When I'm at an arena, I was at the Alamo Dome the last 3 days, and there's 6 games going on at the Alamo Dome each day, or every day. There's 2 courts. And I feel like I'm in my own little world. So that first game when A&M barely beat Troy in that first round, I didn't see it because I'm at the Alamo Dome. Whereas if I was at home, I'd be locked in on the TV. You could see what's going on. So I didn't have that pleasure. Last night, I was in the arena. I wasn't covering the A&M Iowa State game, but at least I could walk the other side of the Alamo Dome and watch the end of it, which is pretty exciting. So that's the difference to me, is I'm not, I feel, yes, I'm here, I'm engaged more, but I can't see the overview, the bigger picture of what's going on at the other venues, because I'm just not there and I can't watch it on TV. I don't have a TV next to me to sit there and go, hey, let's flip the channel and watch the next game, so to speak.
Well, even without that, I'm sure you've had, plenty of time to study up on the games that maybe you've missed in person, some of the bigger matchups, whether it be that first A&M game or even the second Texas A&M game against Iowa State. And kind of that's where I want to start when it comes to actual gameplay and the bracket itself. What are some of these matchups you've seen so far that have really intrigued you?
Well, I was actually covered the Michigan-Tennessee game tonight when Michigan beat Tennessee to reach their first Sweet 16. And that I thought was going to be a great game, and it turned out to be one. I didn't think Michigan was going to blow them out, but they did, and they just looked good. And listen, this is not the Tennessee that, I don't know how old you are. I'm guessing in the early 20s, probably. So when you were a youngster, the Tennessee team was the dominant force with UConn, which they're not anymore. But it's still a name. You say, and no offense to Baylor or any other schools down in the Texas area, but you say women's basketball, it's still probably Tennessee and UConn that the casual fan thinks about.
Yeah.
And Baylor's getting up there, Stanford's up there, and other schools. But those are the two schools that with Pat Summitt and Gino Auriemma in the heyday, everyone knew, if you're a casual fan, those are the two schools you knew were pretty good at basketball. So I was excited to see that game, and sure enough, Michigan won. It's a great story. First Sweet 16 is wonderful. I covered the two UConn games, which were not very exciting from the competitive balance, but that kid Paige Beckers, man, she is something special. She is fun to watch, and we got a special one on Saturday with her against Iowa, UConn against Iowa. The Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, the two stud freshmen who are going to be going head-to-head, and are two of the most exciting names in the sport right now, which is great. And, yes, the Baylor team has run through the tournament the first two rounds. I have not covered them live because I kind of had a feeling that they would do what they did, so to speak, and they're looking fantastic. And they're a team that, as I said to you before, I think make a run deep in this tournament, if not win the whole thing. But I'll see them actually on Saturday or Sunday. I forget which day. I think they're playing Saturday. So I'll see them Saturday at the Alamo Dome, and I'll be with them the rest of the way.
We got there's some BPI ratings that were updated today that say Baylor has a 21% chance to win it all. UConn 20%. Those two teams are 1 and 2. Stanford coming in third at 16%, which I still think Stanford, with their experience earlier this year, being on the road as much as they were, will give them an edge. I know we've talked about that, but Baylor now rolling through Virginia Tech, facing off against a Michigan team that you said you got to see live. What is it that Baylor needs to know about Michigan going into the matchup?
I mean, Baylor is playing so well defensively right now, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, Michigan, this girl, Leah Brown, the first game I saw was actually covered both Michigan games. Just so happened I thought those would be two good games, Michigan, Florida Gulf Coast, and Michigan, Tennessee. Leah Brown from Michigan scored 17 straight points for them in the third quarter in their first round win over Florida Gulf Coast, which was, 17 straight by anyone is pretty impressive. And they have Naz Hillman, who was the Big Ten Player of the Year, who was a really good post player, and who had a great game against Tennessee in the second round. She got in foul trouble in the first round. So, but Baylor has the size. I mean, they're playing great. Queen Egbo's been playing awesome for them. Melissa Smith, I think, has been a little bit off so far, but you haven't needed her. I mean, when you win to 50, you don't need your stars to sort of step up and shine, so to speak. So I think Baylor just is probably a deeper team. Michigan, their point guard, Amy Dilk, is not with the team right now for medical reasons, which that's all the school is saying. That was a big loss, but Danielle Rausch stepped up for them the first two games. It was a big factor. So I think Baylor's on paper the better team than Michigan right now, but we'll see. I mean, Baylor has not been in a tight game yet in the NCAA tournament. If they get down early a little bit, what's going to happen? But I think Baylor's pretty good shape to get to the regional final where potentially they play UConn.
You name dropped there, Doug, a couple of those players, and Melissa Smith and Queen Egbo that we've been talking about. Those two on top of Dejanay Carrington and Moon Urson that really have highlighted this squad. And you mentioned all of those without even saying DeDe Richards, who has just been a staple in women's basketball for years. And you talk about one of the ESPN analysts mentioned the other night. She said, this Baylor team, it is obvious what makes their defense so good. And I want to know from an analyst standpoint, for those that don't know why it's obvious, what is it that makes this Baylor defense so good?
Well, you're right. And how funny is that we go through the Baylor roster and didn't mention DeDe Richards right away. And that's how good they are. That's how deep they are. It's not just one player. Again, if you shut down Naz Hillman for Michigan, Michigan's going to probably have a really tough night winning. You shut down one of those four players on Baylor, well, the other three can have good games, and they're probably in pretty good shape. But to your question about the defense, they play really good team defense. They have good interior defense. And DeDe, I think, is one of the finalists for the Naismith Defensive Player Award, I believe. Again, I get so many emails. I'm not sure keeping track of all awards, but I think she's one of the finalists. If not, she should be. So you have a really good defender in her, really good team defense concepts. That's why they're a really defensive team.
Doug, with coaching in this tournament, you talk about those guys like Vic Schaefer. Schaefer now has his Texas team to the Sweet 16 that I don't think a ton of people saw that coming, that team making it as far as they have. And then the Kim Mulkeys, the Gino Auriemmas who's coming back into the bubble. Does it feel like the experienced, good, established coaches are the ones that are going to have the most success in this tournament moving forward when it comes to the fact that there's so much parity, there's so much adversity in a tournament like this in the middle of the pandemic?
Yeah, that's a great point, Drake. I think Texas game there, I didn't predict it. I didn't think they were going to get this far. And what impressed me most about the game last night, because actually was covering that one as well, they did it with Charlie Collier having a bad game. She had 5 points, 5 rebounds, was in foul trouble, and they still won handily. So that to me shows growth. Whereas a month ago, 2 months ago, she does that, they're losing. I mean, they're not going to get other performances. Celeste Taylor had a great game for them. Kyra Lambert had a great game for them. So that's maturity and growth. And you're right. Having a coach who's been there, done that, so to speak, will be a big difference for some of these schools. I mean, Vic made many runs with Mississippi State to the championship game in the Final Four. That helps when you're in these situations. Obviously, Junior Emma being back for UConn gives them an emotional lift that he's back. And also, they made the Final Four the last 13 years or 12 years. So, like, he's been there, done that. Kim Mulkey's been there and done that, won championships. Defending national champion, they still are, because there's no tournament last year. So you hit the nail on the head. Having that experienced coach who knows what it takes to win and win big games is going to make, I think, the difference in these next rounds. And listen, you and I talked before how this is a wide open tournament. Yeah. People have been like, oh, really wide open. We haven't many upsets. That doesn't mean that there are going to be upsets early on. It just means that now, of the 16 teams that are left, I still think there's a dozen or 10 that could win this championship. And you wouldn't be like, wow, that's a major shock. There's teams out there, the 1 seeds, the 2 seeds, a couple of the 3 seeds that could make a run here and win this whole thing.
Talking about those teams that are still left alive, you got a Texas A&M team that's now, unbelievably battle-tested against teams that most thought they'd beat handedly, but now they've known, hey, this is where we are. It's what it's like to be in a tight game moving forward in the tournament. You got a Texas team who upset UCLA pretty handedly. Maryland looks spectacular right now. Baylor's playing so well. UConn is UConn. Iowa's jumping on the scene. Stanford's consistent. All of these teams we're mentioning and talking about that could make a run to the Final Four national championship game. Who are A, some of these teams that you like moving forward, or B, some of these matchups that you're really intrigued by in the Sweet 16 and moving forward?
I mean, listen, I was on your show, a couple weeks ago or whatever it was, a week and a half ago, and I asked you for my Final Four. And I said Stanford, UConn, Maryland, Texas A&M. Well, one of those teams almost didn't make it out of the first round, let alone the second round, but you don't get style points now, right? Yeah. It's survive or go home, survive and advance. And whether you win by 2 or win by 50, you just have to win. And, well, Texas A&M is doing just enough to win and stay around. So do I feel confident that pick is still going to make the Final Four? I may be a little less confident than before, but, hey, they're won tight games. They're in a tight game next round. They've been there, done that. We're down 10 in the fourth quarter. We can come back and win. So I'll go the positive route. I think that team's still there. We mentioned it. How exciting is this game on ABC on Saturday between UConn and Iowa with the 2 most exciting freshmen in the game right now? And Caitlin Clark, she led the nation in scoring as a freshman. Number 2 for assists, is a phenomenal player. And she's got Iowa in the Sweet 16. And then you have Paige Beckers, who is another phenomenal player, only the 3rd freshman ever to make the AP All-America team. That's pretty impressive. So that to me is a matchup Saturday at 1:00. ABC should be fun for fans to watch. And I think that's going to be sort of the tip off of the Sweet 16. And hopefully it'll draw more fans in and go, wow, this basketball is pretty good.
Say we get that, the matchup that we obviously have been talking about locally, say we get that matchup between Baylor and UConn in the Elite Eight. You just look down the roster, and each team goes so deep, not just in the starting 5, but also 2 or 3 deep into the bench. When you look at a matchup like that, I know we've broken this down probably every time you've joined the show. Is there anything new that's kind of come to light for you now that the tournament has started that you expect to see out of a possible Baylor and UConn matchup?
So I picked UConn to win that game by a hair, but I'm actually now a little more concerned because Nika Mule, UConn starting off guard or point guard, just guard, we'll say, hurt her ankle the other day in the first round. And she didn't play in the second round. And, sprained ankles. She injured her other ankle in the Big East tournament and came back the next night to play. Maybe they were resting her because they didn't need her in the second round this time around. But that's an X factor. If she can't play or is not 100% against Baylor, if those 2 teams meet, that may sway it to Baylor's side because that's a pretty good guard, can shoot well from the outside, has the flair to her game, is fearless, that UConn be missing if she's not there.
Doug, you never really know. In either, March Madness, it's called March Madness for a reason, so you never really know. Baylor and Michigan could get in a dogfight, or Baylor could end up winning by 20. They could lose by 10. I think from our perspective, what I'm seeing is Baylor is going to handle Michigan probably easier than UConn will handle Iowa or, in a game against Iowa. Do you think, let's say, Baylor beats Michigan by 20, but UConn goes the distance with Iowa, wins by 3 in the end in a hard-fought battle, that when Baylor and UConn square off a night later, that'll be a factor in how that game plays out?
We're talking about 18 to 22-year-old college kids. I got to think they can play 2 games in 3 nights without too much effort. I mean, yeah, sure, you'd love to get some rest time for your starters, but we're playing for a championship here, so to speak. They're playing for a championship. We're not. We're going to be going for our own some way, but I got to think that of all the factors, that may not be one that will determine who wins that game. If it goes 7 overtimes and such as less rest maybe, but I got to think that for the most part, I hope when I was 18, 20, I played 7 hours in the gym every day. So I was able to do it. Now I can't do that anymore without stretching for 7 hours and getting an ice bath afterwards. But I don't think that will be the determining factor, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, if Kim can rest her starters for most of the second half, that helps. It takes some of the wear and tear away, no question.
Hopefully so. Maybe that'll be the reality. I'm just trying to give Baylor as many advantages in that game as we can. But Doug, thanks for joining the show today. I know you got to get out of here. You got UConn coming up, Gino back in the bubble, and some media going on there, and some big stuff coming out again this afternoon. But before we get you out of here, Bear Games as always today. Favorite basketball movie? What do you got?
I mean, Hoosiers. How can you go wrong with that one? I mean, Blue Chips was a funny movie, of course, which I don't know, maybe before your time, but Blue Chips was great for humor. But Hoosiers, that's a classic. I mean, who doesn't love running the picket fence to win the game?
Rick Pitino, come on, with the Blue Chips. I go back. I got some Blue Chips up in there. How about the Disney movie madness we got going on? Tarzan or The Little Mermaid?
I mean, I loved Tarzan as a kid because I was a huge fan of apes and monkeys and everything. So obviously that's my favorite. Little Mermaid is cute, and I understand it, but Tarzan definitely I got to go with.
And the soundtrack, Phil Collins, can't beat it. How about Moana or Tangled? Some new school Disney going on up in here.
I mean, I haven't seen either of them, but wasn't The Rock a voice in Moana?
He sang a lot.
So, I mean, I got to go with The Rock. You can't go wrong with The Rock, so I'll have to go that way.
Style points. Doug, keep holding down the fort down there in San Antonio. I know you're only a couple hours away, but, man, it feels like 1,000 miles with just how locked off that bubble seems. But it sounds good you're getting a breath of fresh air every now and then with the Riverwalk.
Always a pleasure to chat, my friend.
Absolutely. Hope to have you on again soon. Again, that was Doug Feinberg of the Associated Press talking women's college basketball. Baylor squaring off with Michigan coming up this weekend. Baylor and Michigan, the winner of that one plays the winner of UConn and Iowa. Doug Feinberg, man, of the AP. Spectacular. Always good. Great analysis from Doug. Who's got a better shot? The men or the women for Baylor? I just don't know. BPI says Baylor's got the shot on the women's side. Tell you what, the men have to deal with Gonzaga. I don't think the women have a Gonzaga in their bracket this year, so I don't know. Maybe give me the women right now. I think they got a really good shot. Kim Mulkey's got that team clicking on all cylinders. They're far better than what I thought they would end up being this season. And, man, they're rolling right now. They're rolling. I like the team. a lot. I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims, Andrew Robertson, Jack McKenzie are in here. When we come back, we'll hear from Scott Drew and Maceo Teague as they preview the matchup this weekend, this Saturday at 4:15 against Villanova. Again, on the other side of this break, it's Scott Drew and Maceo Teague talking all things Villanova. Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims, Andrew Robertson, Jack McKenzie. This is Up Tempo.
It was a busy day in women's basketball yesterday as the round of 32 concluded. 8 more teams punched tickets to the Sweet 16. Starting with upsets, 6-seed Oregon toppled 3-seed Georgia 57-50, and 6-seed Texas advanced past 3-seed UCLA 71-62. Elsewhere, 2-seed Texas A&M snuck by 7-seed Iowa State 84-82 on a buzzer beater in overtime. Questionable calls down the stretch gave the Lady Aggies an advantage for the second tournament game in a row. On the men's side, everything is gearing up for the Sweet 16 that takes place starting on Saturday. Duke freshman Jamin Brakefield plans to transfer from the team. UNC freshman Day'Ron Sharp has declared for the NBA draft. Florida sophomore Trey Mann has declared for the NBA draft, and Pittsburgh's Justin Champagny will also test the NBA waters. In football, it's time for spring ball. Baylor kicked off its spring drills yesterday as media got its first look at the 4-person quarterback battle. Another open practice will take place today. And Texas has paused its spring football practice due to COVID-19. Oklahoma coach Lincoln Riley is protesting TCU quarterback Chandler Morse's eligibility after he transferred from Oklahoma. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Paulie, give me some of your tots. No, go find your own. Come on, give me some of your tots. No, I'm freaking starved. I didn't get to eat anything today.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Brian, don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with Dave all day.
Your place for a Baylor take on your lunch break. Here's Drake Toll.
All right, welcome back to the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Thursday, everybody. Jersey Thursday, folks. It is game week for the Baylor men. Not just game week, but Sweet 16 game week. Baylor's playing in its 5th Sweet 16 since 2010, one of 13 programs to achieve that feat. Baylor is, let's see if we can find some of the little stat broadcasts in here. Sorry, I'm going to see if I can find the Villanova game notes to see what Villanova has to say about Baylor coming into this matchup. How about Villanova game notes? Here they are. Nova comes into the bowl game at 18-6 overall, 11-4 in the Big East. Baylor 24-2, 13-1 in the Big 12. We got sound bites from Scott Drew coming up. Here are some of the highlights. The highlights from the game notes. Jay Wright against Scott Drew. Baylor's 16-14 in 13 all-time NCAA championships, including a 13-8 record in the Scott Drew era. Baylor's appearing in the NCAA tournament for the 6th time in the last 7 years, with the win versus Wisconsin. Baylor now has a 5-1 record in second-round games. Baylor's won its first-round game 3 straight NCAA tournaments, and they're appearing in the NCAA postseason for a school record 9th consecutive season, 7 NCAA, 2 NIT. Streak of 9 consecutive postseasons, tied as the nation's 7th longest active, making its 10th tournament appearance in the modern tournament era. First 3 NCAA tournament appearances in 46, 48, 50 were in an 8-team unseeded bracket. Did you know that? I didn't know that. 48, when they went in 46, 48, and 50, they were in an 8-team unseeded bracket. That's weird. Red Auerbach. Baylor's played 13 of the 26 games versus 9 different NCAA teams this season. They won the Big 12 for the first time since 1950. You got Villanova. It's worth noting, Nova meets number 1 seed Baylor. The Wildcats are 6-9 all-time facing number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. That's a really good record, actually. That's a really good record. Yeah, nice. Wildcats 17 all-time wins as the lower seed, are second all-time to Michigan State's 18. Since 2016, Villanova's 16-2 in the NCAA tournament. That's wild. Sporting news, NBAC third-team All-American Jeremiah Robinson Earl has been impressive. Villanova's 3 postseason games, Big East tournament, 2 in the NCAA tournament. Native of Kansas City is 24 of 42 from the field, averaging 22 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4 assists per game. In the 2 NCAA tournament games, he has produced 12 assists and just 2 turnovers. Villanova has made gains on the defensive end earlier in the month. The Wildcats have held their last 5 opponents in 7 of the last 8 to 40% shooting or below. In Sunday night's victory over North Texas, the Wildcats held the Mean Green to 40% shooting from the floor. In the first 16 games of the season, Villanova held a foe to 40 or below just twice. So the team's gotten a lot better on defense. Chris Arcidiacono, Justin Moore, Caleb Daniels, Jermaine Samuels, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl are the projected starting 5 for Villanova. And that game's going to take place again 4:15 this Saturday. Some more game notes coming in there. Last meeting, last year, Baylor leads 1-0 all-time in the matchups. They beat Villanova 87-78 November 24th of 2019 in Myrtle Beach. I remember that one. I watched that one. Wildcats are 4-4 all-time at Hinkle Fieldhouse, where the game is set to square off. All of those games having taken place since 2013 when Butler joined the Big East. These 2 teams staged an entertaining back and forth. The Myrtle Beach Invitational, Baylor pulled away in the final 5 minutes. Colin Gillespie had 27 points last year. He was their catalyst, and he's gone. He's not going to play. It's the Wildcats' first encounter with a Big 12 foe in the NCAA tournament since 2018 when they beat West Virginia, Texas Tech, and Kansas consecutively in 2018. In November, both teams were on the 4-team Empire Classic at the Mohegan Sun, but Baylor was forced to drop out due to COVID-19. We all remember. We were there. Jay Wright and Scott Drew squaring off for the second time. This Villanova team, 6 Final Fours, 3 national championships, 39 NCAA tournament appearances. They got history, man. They got history. They're good at what they do. Kyle Lowry went there. Josh Hart, Ryan Arcidiacono, Michael Bridges, Dante DiVincenzo. Yeah. Eric Pascal, Jalen Brunson, they all went to Villanova. They all play in the NBA now, so it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough matchup. Here's what Scott Drew and Scott Drew and Maceo Teague had to say about their matchup with Villanova and what they expect to see when Nova and Baylor square off at 4:15 this Saturday.
Hey, Kendall Cout, our Daily Bears. Scott, Villanova's played without Colin Gillespie, seems to have turned a corner. What do you notice differently about them in the last few games since they've kind of dealt with that injury?
Well, I think they're getting comfortable with the personnel they have. And, I mean, I look back when we lost Tristan Clark. It took us 1 or 2 games to figure out what we were going to do. And then great teams always adapt, and Villanova's a great team. They have a great coach. You knew they would figure it out.
Yes, John Warner, Waco Tribune here. Scott, what particularly impresses you about Villanova? And I also wondered if you'd talk a little bit about Jeremiah Robinson Earl and what he brings.
Well, First about Villanova, it's they've won 2 out of the last 4 national championships. Coach Wright has a great culture. They're extremely disciplined. They don't turn the ball over. They take great shots. They play the right way. They share the ball, and defensively they're rock solid. So you have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves, and obviously a very scrappy, tough team. Loose balls you're always seeing 2 or 3 of their players diving on the floor for them. As far as Jeremiah, we saw him a year ago, and he was a great player then, and he's improved now, and he's even better. And there's a reason he's going to be in the NBA at some point when he chooses to go there, and that's guys with his size, athleticism, skill set. They don't come around often. And at the same time, what impresses me the most is, besides his ability to play inside and outside, how he lets the game come to him. He doesn't force a lot, and just seems to always make the fundamentally correct play.
Coach DeMarco Cole, Philadelphia Inquirer here. Villanova has made, over the past 10 years, they made their name with these elite guards. And this year, you have arguably the best trio in the country. And they're all older guys. So with that being said, what is the key to the success of these 3 guards that you have, that have been really good this season, and what on and off the court in terms of the chemistry and just their performance?
Well, similar to the Villanova guards that they've had, guys that really work hard. They're team-oriented guys. They have a great chemistry and love for each other. You can see that on the floor. So they're trying to make plays for each other instead of trying to get theirs. And then iron sharpens iron. Each day in practice, we get better because we compete against each other. And that's, in college, you practice more than you play. So if you can get better in practice, that's really a big advantage. But these 3, high character, great students, great work ethic, guys that weren't McDonald's All-Americans, but guys that just got better each and every day and love to get better each and every day. So it's a joy and pleasure to coach guys like this.
Hey, Scott, Curtis Quillen, Channel 6 in Waco. You guys just played this Villanova team last season. How have you found the guys? Have you found them to be looking back at that matchup, or are they looking at this as a brand new team, like you said earlier, that just kind of reinvented itself after an injury?
Well, I think you can always take some things from your past experience, and this worked, this didn't work, and you're going to put that into context. Well, will it work against this year's team? At the same time, I thought last year when we played Villanova, I know some of the media said it was the best college game of the year, and it was really one of those games back and forth, and whoever made the last shot down the stretch was going to win, it seemed like. So again, Villanova, they're not going to beat themselves. You're going to have to beat them, and you have 2 teams that are used to winning. You have 2 teams that got a lot of guys that care about each other. So it's definitely going to be a war. We'll take some of the stuff that worked from the last time, and I'm sure they will as well.
Hey, Coach. Mandy Knight, KWKT, Fox 44 in Waco. Obviously, with COVID, it seems like it's more challenging having to wait all those days between the Sweet 16 game and then the round of 32 game. Can you talk about some of the challenges, why it's harder for your players and what they're doing to deal with that now that there's not as many activities and everything that they can do?
Well, I think we've been really blessed and fortunate, and what I mean by that is we got guys that like spending time together. We've had an Uno tournament, a Connect 4 tournament. We've done some other things with the guys, and we've enjoyed getting to know them better and just hanging out with them. We got some really good cornhole players on the team now. So the NCAA has provided us some opportunities to do some things, and everybody's so appreciative just to have an NCAA tournament this year. After last year, a lot of our guys never been to the tournament. We're looking so forward to it last year, and then not having that opportunity and then having it now, we don't take anything for granted, and it's everybody's been really appreciative and excited to be here and in the bubble. So I know all 16 of us don't want to leave, so it's a blessing to be a part of March Madness.
Coach, I'm doing a unique story here today because a lot of people keep asking me around Indy why the coaches are so casual this year. And I know that this was, I think, a decision that was made across the board, but I wanted to know what you think of it and if you think it'll maybe stick around in the seasons to come.
Well, I think because of COVID, we all put on about 10 or 15 pounds. We couldn't fit in our suits, so we had to go to the polos. That might be number one, but definitely with playing in empty gyms and a lot of places restricted to no fans or 10% or whatnot, it is a lot more comfortable in polos and pullovers. At the same time, whatever best represents our basketball game, I think we'll all do that because we're all team players and we want to put our best foot forward. But I can promise you that it's a lot more comfortable, that's for sure.
Hey, Scott, Aaron Beard, Associated Press. I wanted to go back to something you were talking about with transfers. Specifically, if you've had a guy, is there an added value, I guess, to having a guy who may have developed a little bit at another program in the tournament? Maybe a guy that's a little bit older or he's experienced college basketball. Is there a benefit to that now in the tournament, do you think?
No question. People that are older usually wiser, better, more physically developed. I mean, at the end of the day, 22-year-olds, you ask any 18-year-old, are you going to be better at 22? And hopefully the answer is yes. So I think everybody would rather have more experienced, physically developmentally mature players. The big thing will be like with the transfers, a lot of them used to sit out, and so for 1 year they really developed their game without the pressure to perform and play, and they could really focus on, I can be in the weight room, I can spend extra time in the gym. If they weren't a great shooter, they could be on scout team, they can shoot as much as they want, not get in trouble. So it allows growth without being fresh and the expectation of playing, and you have to be ready to play, and you can really just spend a year on yourself. So a lot of transfers in the past have gotten better that way. With immediate eligibility, it'll be interesting to see just how everything happens, because everybody wants to play right away. And at the end of the day, we have 13 scholarship players, and there's only 5 on the court, so 8 aren't playing. And hence, again, I think when players have sat out in the past, there are some benefits to that as well.
Kendall Cout, ODB. Maceo, Wisconsin game, you saved that ball out of bounds, then hit Mark for the alley-oop. Kind of when did you know on that save you had a chance to get it to Mark for that oop?
Honestly, when I was dribbling up the floor, I was thinking I was about to dunk it. And then I saw Trice, he ran over to me. And when I saw Trice coming over to me, I saw Mark running on the backside, and I didn't see anybody else. So I knew I was going to throw the lob, and that was the play.
Macy, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the transition defense, because that might have been the last part for you guys to really know that this is getting back. And it seemed like it happened a lot more with Hartford and Wisconsin. What's changed as far as you guys just with the live ball turnovers and getting the transition game back in your offense these last 2 games?
Like I said, we just really didn't have a time to practice, really have a time to compete. I mean, it's easier. It's easy, like in life, things are easier said than done. I mean, you can go over film and say, we need to be right here, we need to be right here. But when you actually go through it and you mess up in a practice and then the coach corrects you, and then the next time you're like, oh, okay, well, I need to be right here on this time. It's easier for us to get it down as a team.
Yeah, Maceo, I was going to ask you about the bench and how big they've been. Adam came through big in that first game, then Matthew. How much of a help is that, just getting that kind of contributions from the bench?
It's always a big help from the bench. They come in and give us a spark. John, he comes in off the bench, gives us a spark too. And then the bench, the guys who don't get in, I mean, they're just as important as the guys on the floor. They get us prepared for our upcoming games. They provide energy on the bench. And like the coaches, they're not always looking at things from a player's perspective. So having like LJ come over to me and say, hey, you could have drove him right there on this closeout instead of just catch and shoot and just pump fake because you just hit one. He might fly by, then you can get in the lane and pass it to somebody. So just little things like that that the guys on the bench are saying. It doesn't always have to be the guys that are playing, but the guys on the bench always encourage us, and they're really helpful as well.
And John, how big is that energy that he brings? Just seems like he brings it every time he comes on the.
Yeah, he does. That's everyday John.
Yeah, Maceo. Davion's a finalist for Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. In what ways does he inspire you guys on that end of the court, and how does he maybe help you guys get better?
He helps us get better because we don't one, he teaches us defensive things. I always ask him questions because I really didn't try on defense a lot, and growing up and stuff like that until I really met Davion. And I saw how good he was on defense. And he says that it's all effort, but that's 1,000% a lie. It's 50% effort, 50% skill. And it's he understands where people are going to drive, and he helps you you should have sent him this way because all of your help was there, or if you stand right here, he won't be able to drive right there, or at least he'll second guess it, and I'll give you time to catch up. So his mind defensively on the ball really helps you understand a different way. You never really hear anybody coaching people up on defense on a defensive IQ, but his defensive IQ on the ball is extremely high. So whoever taught him how to play defense, I think it was his uncles, they did an amazing job because his mind on the defensive end is crazy.
Okay, well, look, that was spectacular. Scott Drew, Maceo Teague. Well, while it was happening, the world fell apart. Lon Kruger has retired from Oklahoma as the head basketball coach. That's right, the Lon Kruger. Kruger, 68 years old, is done after taking this Oklahoma team. He's been there 10 years. Prior to that, he was at UNLV for 7 years. He is done at the program after taking Oklahoma to the round of 32, losing to Gonzaga. And that's it. That's it for Lon Kruger. Head coaching record combined overall 195 and 128, 90 and 89 in Big 12 play. That at Oklahoma. 195 wins, 128 losses at Oklahoma. He went to the NCAA Sweet 16 in 2015. He went to the Final Four in 2016, round of 32 in 2018, round of 64 in 2018, round of 32 in 2019, and then tournament canceled last year, but they would have made it in 2019, 2020, this year out in the round of 32, and now Lon Kruger has retired after a great career at Oklahoma, won 20 games in his second season, then 23, 24, 29. The guy was just top-notch. Lon Kruger, one of the best ones out there, too. So we'll have more coverage on that as the week goes on. I guess tomorrow's the last day of the week. Today's the final Thursday of the week, but we'll have more coverage on that tomorrow. Lon Kruger out as Oklahoma's head coach. He has opted to retire at the age of 68. OU now on the search for a new women's basketball coach to replace Sherry Cole and men's basketball coach to replace Lon Kruger. I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims. Got Andrew Robertson here as well, Jack McKenzie. When we come back, we're playing This Day in Sports History and Celebrity Birthdays. This is Uptempo.
It was a busy day in women's basketball yesterday as the round of 32 concluded. 8 more teams punched tickets to the Sweet 16. Starting with upsets, 6 seed Oregon toppled 3 seed Georgia 57-50, and 6 seed Texas advanced past 3 seed UCLA 71-62. Elsewhere, 2 seed Texas A&M snuck by 7 seed Iowa State 84-82 on a buzzer beater in overtime. Questionable calls down the stretch gave the Lady Aggies an advantage for the second tournament game in a row. On the men's side, everything is gearing up for the Sweet 16 that takes place starting on Saturday. Duke freshman Jamin Brakefield plans to transfer from the team. UNC freshman Day'Ron Sharp has declared for the NBA draft. Florida sophomore Trey Mann has declared for the NBA draft, and Pittsburgh's Justin Champagny will also test the NBA waters. In football, it's time for spring ball. Baylor kicked off its spring drills yesterday as media got its first look at the 4-person quarterback battle. Another open practice will take place today. And Texas has paused its spring football practice due to COVID-19. Oklahoma coach Lincoln Riley is protesting TCU quarterback Chandler Morse's eligibility after he transferred from Oklahoma. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Uptempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Nitchie Group Insurance Agency. With the Nitchie Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Nitchie Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Nitchie Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
All right, welcome back into Up Tempo. It is Thursday, 1:55 on the dot today. Some birthdays today going on, celebrity birthdays today we're going to talk about. Celebrity birthday number 1, it is Big Sean's birthday.
Big Sean?
The rapper?
Big Sean's birthday.
Is it a rapper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while.
Okay, 37.
No.
34.
Nope, 33.
That's so close.
Elton John's birthday is today.
I'm going to say 79.
Nope.
76.
Both of you are wrong. 74. Aretha Franklin would have been how old today?
She would have been 87.
94.
Bet you wish you were right. 79.
Whoa.
79. That's what I said for Elton John.
The good ones died too young.
Sarah Jessica Parker having a birthday today.
30.
Why do I know her?
She's a TV actress.
No clue who she is. 30.
39.
56.
All right, still close.
Pride of Villanova, Kyle Lowry.
That's his nickname, the Pride of Villanova.
Don't ask questions. Just play the game.
I don't know, 26.
35.
What?
I didn't even guess. All right, good. Keep going.
Young Poppy. Whoever the hell that is.
Young Poppy.
I don't even know who that is.
Young, 24.
So he's an Instagram rapper.
24.
You can be an Instagram rapper? Okay. 21.
27.
Wow.
He's not young.
He's got to make a name for himself soon.
Young Poppy.
Yeah, that's it.
This day in sports history.
Do you want to host a show? This day in sports history.
This is abrasive Drake.
Guess what happened?
Grand National.
Which one?
The
38th.
Nope. 43rd Grand National. Irish jockey Tommy Beasley wins his second consecutive Grand National aboard 11-2. Co-favorite Woodbrook. What year?
1884.
No.
1885.
1881.
I just go one above you every time.
I don't know.
60th Grand National. John Gorley wins aboard 25-1 shot. Drug Hader. Do the math.
1894.
1896.
1898.
What?
That math doesn't add up.
Yeah, it does not add up.
It's crazy because
They must have skipped a year.
It's what the on this day in sports history said. Even though they skipped a year, you still wouldn't be right. 86th Grand National.
Multiple years.
86th Grand National. 8-1 favorite Sprigg wins, ridden by jockey Ted Leader, trained by his father Tom Leader. What year?
Where Grand National?
86. Pay attention next time.
86th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to say that was in 1930.
Nope.
27.
1920. Ding, ding, ding.
19.
Ding, ding, ding.
Is that right?
Yeah, 1927.
Wow.
In this year, it is revealed that Quaker
Ding,
Oats
ding.
pays Babe Ruth $25,000 per year for ads.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
It's bank.
I don't know when Babe Ruth played. 1925.
30.
37. 9th NCAA men's basketball championship. Holy Cross beats Oklahoma 58-47. Their first title. Holy Cross, what year?
1947.
Ding.
No way.
Ding, ding, ding.
No.
Yeah.
It was 1947?
1947.
I just pulled that year right out of my butt.
Golfer Tiger Woods returns to his world number one ranking in what year? Returns.
2019?
2013. He returned.
Yeah, I guess he.
Well, how many times has he been number
Australian
one?
cricket captain
Who
Steve
knows?
Smith handed one-match ban after admitting Australian team tampered with the ball in third test against South Africa in South Africa. Cricket.
The well-known scandal that is South African cricket.
1984.
2018. Show's over.
Show's over.
Later, guys.
All right, I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims, Jack McKenzie's up in here, so is Andrew Robinson. How about it, folks? I don't have anything to throw at you. I'd throw a Diet Coke can if I could, but I just can't. They'll fire me. When we come back tomorrow, it's a full slate talking all things men's basketball. Baylor and Villanova squaring off in the Sweet 16. All of it, it's on the walls, but it has been up-tempo.